All right, we should be all set to go. Let me just double check on the secondary account that the horizontal stream is horizontaling. Howdy, howdy. Okay, looks like the horizontal stream is horizontaling. That's good. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having a good start to their week. I know it is Monday, and, you know, Monday is, well, it's Monday. Hello, Verts. Hello, Whores. Ooh. It's okay, it ends in a Z and starts with an H. It's fine. The horizontal stream is curved, actually. Turns out. That's what horizontal means. Horizontal means flat. Man, I can't stop yawning. Pretty sure I slept enough. Howdy, howdy. Do I think Greenland will be invaded? I hope not. It'd be good if not. You have our first guest. I vaguely remember talking to Brookhaven last week, but it was on the MAGA topic, if I remember correctly. Let's bring him up.
Yo, hello. Yo,
Brookhaven, how's it going?
Yo, you doxed me, bro. Like, you doxed me, bro.
I doxed you?
No, you doxed, like, I'm sorry.
I don't know what that means. But he seemed like he was going to come up and be upset, so... I don't know what docked means. I don't know either. I ducked him. Oh, okay. Should we bring him back up?
Yo, I said
did you say?
Docked, like docked. If you docked a person, like
I moored a boat to your pier?
oh my god. Yo, docked, like ran from, like, you know, like if you
ducked.
run from someone. Yeah.
Yeah, so Brookhaven, what shape do you think the Earth is?
It's round.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. At least he's not a flat earther, that's good. Dock as when a starship lands. No, docking isn't what happens when starships land, right? Docking is what happens when a starship gets to space dock. On the other hand, docking is what happens when you moor a ship to a pier. I believe that's called docking. Or is that just mooring? What's the difference between docking and mooring? Difference between docking and mooring. Mooring secures a boat to a fixed object like a buoy or permanent anchor in open water, while docking involves tying a boat directly to a pier, dock, or another vessel. So docking is like mooring, except on a pier rather than in the open ocean. Wait a minute, now I'm confused. Somewhere else is saying, okay, so anchoring is when you drop a large heavy object, we know this. Mooring refers to lassoing, tethering, tying, or otherwise securing your boat to a fixed object, such as a mooring buoy, rather than dropping an anchor to secure your vessel anywhere you fancy. You can moor your boat to a mooring buoy, dock, quay, wharf, jetty, or pier. So you can moor to a dock. Did we actually land on the moon? Of course we did. Guys, I know what the alternative definition of docking is. I know what that means. I know. Do you not get the subversion that's happening right now? I understand. There's a level of humor in being intentionally naive towards otherwise crude language. I'm sorry that that happened. But it did. Anyway, make sure to, if you're just getting here, make sure to like the live, make sure to tap the screen if you're on TikTok, make sure to, share it if you're on YouTube or on TikTok, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell if you're on YouTube. We have a particularly special guest. Do you want to come up? You were exactly who I was waiting for.
Dr. Blitz.
Jaren, how's it going?
Good, you?
I'm doing all right. When was the last time we spoke? It must have been when we did when you moderated that debate, it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think that was the only time we've actually spoke.
I think so too. Jaren, do you want to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Sure. If you don't know me, I've been a YouTuber for 10 years. I was a flat earther for all those 10 years until I went on the trip to Antarctica in December of 2024. And I realized that we were drastically, embarrassingly wrong. And yeah, I mean, I've been trying to, inform people from that point on that the flat earth is incorrect. So that's basically who I am. Of course, I'm getting a bunch of hate for it, but I mean, I probably deserve it. I think it's like a little punishment. What are you gonna do?
So look, I mean, usually I only bring on opposition, but I'll make a special exception here. Do you mind if I just ask you some questions? Because I'm curious about the whole thing that happened. So look, and so for those who don't know, there was this big thing. Jared mentioned it. It was the final experiment. They brought a whole bunch of flat earthers to Antarctica. So who else? I know that Witsit was there. It was you, Witsit, and who else?
From the flat earth side?
From the flat earth side, yeah.
That girl.
I don't remember her name.
Lisbeth.
Lisbeth, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And
there
was there a fourth?
Yeah, John, the documentary guy, is a flat earther.
Jonathan,
okay. Mariondi is his name.
I don't know him, but I guess I didn't know Lisbeth either because up until she was on the trip.
Right, she was. She has a room over at Clubhouse, I guess, where a bunch of people hang out.
Okay.
I don't know much about that app.
So in Antarctica, what exactly did you guys do?
What exactly did we do? Well, we got there on the 14th around 3 o'clock or so. So we were taken from the airplane to the base, got something to eat, and then we went to a secondary camp to make sure that the sun didn't get too close to that mountain there to do our 24-hour time lapses. And then so that took us through the night of the 14th. And then the 15th, we went on a sightseeing flight. And then we found out early morning on the 16th that we'd be leaving early on the 17th. So it really was kind of short. But
okay.
Yeah, they did, most of the Globers did a lot of experiments as far as some shadow tests, things like that. McKeegan got lots of footage of the sun, took some solar filter footage. And then we had people in the north, people in Florida, filming the sun from there just so we could compare the two. And of course, we got that they were upside down. And then we also tested whether or not it was a reflection. So by keeping the solar filter on the sun for 24 hours, we were able to see that the sunspots didn't move. They never reflected. They didn't ever deviate.
Oh, they didn't invert?
Right, nothing like that. So we tested that. I tested to make sure that I could burn paper with a magnifying glass from both the northern sun and the southern sun. And then I know Dave McKeegan did. I always forget, is the sun polarized or non-polarized?
It's supposed to be non-polarized.
Okay, and then a reflection is polarized?
Yes.
It's one or the other. Okay, that's it. So he tested that to make sure that he tested the reflection off of, I think it was a window of one of the vehicles to show that was different than the sun in the sky, right? So that
that's
people
interesting.
couldn't say. Yeah, so we kind of did cover everything, and then I know that Tune and Critical Think measured the distance between degrees of longitude.
How did you
Right,
measure
so-
the degrees of longitude?
So in Punta Arenas at 53 degrees south, they were able to
Mhm.
measure, and it wasn't like they did a whole degree, they did like, a tenth of a degree
Sure.
or whatever, and then went down south and measured again just to prove that it got smaller.
But what did
The
they?
distance
What exactly
between-
were they measuring to figure out how far was, say, a tenth of a degree? Were they just measuring like a star in the sky and where its position was, or what did they do?
No, I'm pretty sure that they were using ground measurements,
Oh, okay.
basically. Yeah.
And like GPS kind of thing?
Yep. Just,
Oh, okay.
whatever
So
the
they
degree
just
was.
measured distances and then they checked where their position was according to GPS. Okay.
Right. Because if it's a flat Earth, at 53 degrees south, you should have like it's almost, I think it's 4 times the distance, meaning
Right.
a degree of longitude on a flat Earth should be 160 miles. The globe calls for 40 miles, so that
Sure.
you can test that and see which one matches.
So I'm curious, how did so you guys were all, I imagine that you had met Austin Whitsitt in person before.
Yep.
So
Yeah, a few conferences.
did you guys all fly to, it was Argentina, right? Not Chile? Or is it
No,
Chile? Okay, so you guys flew to Chile. Did you fly to Chile together? Or did you meet there?
No, I met Lisbeth and Austin in Buenos Aires,
Okay.
and then
And
we
so-
flew from there to Punta Arenas together.
So what was like kind of the vibe going in?
I think, Austin and I thought that the trip would be canceled pretty much until maybe, a month or 2 weeks before, where we're kind of like, oh shit, this is going to happen. So I think that, on the flight down there, we kind of had an idea that we were going to see the sun. And then when we got to Punta Arenas and we watched the first sunset, I mean, the sun's clearly going right to left. It completely
Mhm.
craps on the flat Earth model. So, and then you're looking at the sun south of you, and you're at Punta Arenas. So that doesn't make any sense, because the sun on a flat Earth should be above the Tropic of Capricorn on that time. And so how is it to our south? It just didn't make any sense. So, and then you see the sun barely skirt the horizon. It's barely under the horizon for a few hours, and then it pops up going right to left. So we kind of at that point knew, oh, well, now it makes sense, right? That when you see the sun over there, it's below the horizon, but that's when it's above Australia's head. So Australia on a flat Earth map is, 25 or 30,000 miles behind me.
Right.
So everything that we saw, and that's why people are like, oh, you just saw the sun and flipped because you saw the sun. It's like, no, everything about the South proved to be exactly what the globe model predicts. So
when, and just to clarify, so I know that after your trip to Antarctica, you were like, yeah, this was just wildly wrong. I don't know if Whitsitt has flipped. Has Whitsitt flipped? What's his, do you know?
not that I know if he's kind of disappeared. I don't know if what he's doing really.
So, and what about the other two? Do you know what their position has, if their position
Elizabeth
changed?
says that she's no longer a flat earther, but I don't think that she calls herself necessarily like a glober.
Sure.
And I don't know about Jonathan, although I think that I guess he's saving that for the documentary or something. But
Oh,
I
okay.
think that
Okay, that's fair.
yeah, I think that he's kind of been converted, or at least now knows that that's a truth, right? Which would be the only goal here. If people want to still be flat earthers, that's fine. But now you have to explain how the flat
Right.
Earth works with these new, facts that are now fact. So not that they weren't facts before, but at least they can be confirmed now. We filmed it. People don't have to believe me, but now I'm telling them, go down to the south. I mean, the sun goes the wrong direction in the south. I mean, that's just, there's no other way to look at it. There's only one shape that you can put humans on that causes them in the north to see the sun moving left to right, and in the south seeing the sun move right to left. It's just only a sphere. Anything else won't work. Put it on a flat Earth, and then you've got kind of a, what do you call it? A paradox, because you've got somebody in the north and somebody in the south both looking west, but seeing the same sun go a different direction, which just doesn't make sense unless you're on a sphere.
So somebody in the comments brought up an interesting point. What got you to flat Earth to begin with?
Well, I'd say it's, a lack of north-south circumnavigation was the start of it, and then being very locally minded. So, water finds its level. So you have the question of like, well, I don't ever see water curve, so how does it curve? And then it just takes time for somebody to kind of break that down to you and say, well, do you take a shower? Do you see the water curving around your body? Water is actually the most bendy substance that there is. And then you kind of start to understand. And then when I realized that on the Earth, for every 660 feet, it's only 1/8 of an inch of curve, which is like a nickel lying down. So that means that in 2 football fields in length, the curvature of the earth is 1 nickel. So
Mhm.
you know, looking at that much water, imagine looking at 660 feet of water, you would never see the curve. It's impossible to see it. Our eyes don't see it. We couldn't even measure it. So if you start to back away from the earth, the fact that it curves overall, still the water only curves as much as it does in that 660 feet, which is
But
1/8 of an inch.
but so I guess what I'm asking is I talk to a lot of flat earthers, and I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
And so a lot of them come at this from a biblical or religious perspective.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I mean, it makes sense to me that the Bible is a flat Earth book. I think the people who wrote it would have believed in a flat Earth at the time. So I think that's another thing I see flat Earthers do a lot is that they go back and they say, oh, but all these ancient cosmologies are all flat.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, yeah, that's because it was before we figured out it was a sphere. So you know, they're taking it as almost to mean that means it's the truth because the Babylonians used it and the Hebrews used
Right.
it, but that's not really the case. They thought that because they were very locally minded, they didn't even travel enough to see that the stars changed you know, a degree for every 69 miles. They wouldn't have seen that. So anyway, it's just yeah, that's why, you know, all the old cosmologies are flat, and then we
So,
figured that it was a sphere.
but I'm trying to get at some psychology here. So do
Sure.
you think that generally, I guess that this wasn't the case for you, but do you think that for most people who end up down the flat earth rabbit hole, do you think that it's a result of being religious first and then finding some sort of quote unquote justification later? Or do you think that it usually goes the other way? They find some sort of justification and then they see that it aligns with some religious beliefs
Right.
that they hold. Which
I
way do you
think
think
if
it
you're-
usually goes?
I think if you're a Christian, then you already believe that the Bible is true, right? So if
To
somebody
some
comes to
extent,
you,
yeah.
right. So if somebody comes to you and says the Bible's a flat earth book, you're going to first say, no, there's no way. What do you mean? And then if somebody shows you that the Bible had, you know, 4 corners and that it says it, you know, takes a shape like a seal, you know, pressed in wax. And there's a couple lines in there that clearly show it to be flat earth kind of related. And so I think at that point, as a Christian, the people who are adopting it are just those who feel like, well, the Bible must be true. So the Bible
Sure.
says there is flat, then that means that we are being deceived. And the Bible says that Satan is deceiving even the very elect and even the very knowledgeable. It's right that the Bible says there's going to be some grand deception that confuses even the very intelligent. So they tend to think that's what it's meaning, you know, that they're talking about flat earth.
So, and look, I have this background, flat earth is dead, and I started using this I used to just have like, you know, the earth is not flat or whatever when I did these
Right.
before, but I started using this background after the final experiment. But it seems like the final experiment, it was at least fairly compelling to the people who were there to see it with their own eyes, because it's hard to fake those kinds of things, right? But it seems like a lot of the flat earthers that I've spoken with, at least since, just don't care at all about the final experiment. They think that you guys are all, you know, plants or whatever. So I guess the question is, and especially these are the types that are, you know, the religious types, do you think that that there's anything that you can do to get through to the religious types who are flat earthers?
I think so. There's a couple things that it might take a while. You know how it is that you can't really convince anybody of something face to face. It just doesn't happen. It usually you plant the seeds and it kind of comes along throughout the, you know, it takes time. So I think that's what I've seen is that, you know, getting people to really see that both the sun and the moon follow the same path, which is basically in the north, it goes, rises and sets, always moving left to right if you're looking west or looking east. And then in the south, it does the opposite. So just kind of showing them that you don't need government, you don't need NASA, you don't need physics books. You just need your eyes, and they'll watch those things in the sky. Now they also say, well, you can't tell the shape of the ground by things in the sky, but you really can. That's how we map the Earth, and that's how we know where the North and South Pole are. They're, you know, below the North and South celestial poles. So yeah, it's just a matter of them kind of, and then I think also just repeating over and over again, which I've been doing, that there's no map. Now there's no map, there's no model. So they really, you know, if they want to go back to the drawing board and try and figure out a map, I already know that there's no other map, because the AE map, you know, somebody asked me yesterday, like, well, just because you debunked the AE map doesn't mean flat Earth is debunked. And I said, no, it does, because the continents can't be moved. You know, we know where the continents are because of where the sun is, and the sun brings noon to all those places in 24 hours every day. So we know the continents are laid out correctly. We know that the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer are laid out correctly. Those are not man-made. Those are the furthest north and south the sun goes. And the equator is not man-made. That is the centric point when on the equinox. So once you have those things down, the AE map is the only flat Earth map that could ever exist. So once it's been debunked or falsified, flat Earth has been falsified.
And what do you make of the kinds of ways around the observations in the Southern Hemisphere that people like Shane and people like, what's the other guy's name? You know, Alan, that Shane and Alan use. Do you think that what they're doing is essentially trying to back away from the AE map and instead just attack the globe? Do you think, like, what do you think is the right approach when talking with these kinds of people that just don't care about the AE map and just are globe skeptics?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a globe skeptic, you have to have something else in mind that it is, and if it's flat, well, then explain how the sun works. I mean, the sun is the most important thing in the world. So if you can't really explain that, then your map is probably wrong. And if there is a model out there that explains everything that we see, then that model's right, no matter how weird it might seem to a flat earther that we're on the sphere. And I say that too. I say all the time, I say, if you think it's weird living on a globe, so do I. However, it's fact. So, it's time to get over it, because it's not going to go away just because we feel like it's weird.
So back to the final experiment, and sorry, I'm just peppering you with questions because so I mean, for what it's worth, you're probably the most well-known person who was staunchly a flat earther for a long time and then actually changed their mind, and that's a rare thing. So kudos to you, by the way. So while you were in Antarctica, did any of the flat earthers conduct experiments, yourself included?
I wouldn't say conducted experiments. I mean, besides, like I said, the testing whether the sun burnt the magnifying glass. We had, the what's called Solar Quest on my camera. I have like a Aphodis camera. It's like a time-lapse camera. But as far as like experiments, no, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I didn't really have anything in mind other than I wanted to make sure I got chest cam footage for everybody so that they could see. We were really down there to verify. I wanted to make sure that the sun did exactly what it was supposed to do. And then, checking that there was the south, not magnetic, the south celestial pole, watching the stars go around the opposite direction there. But no, as far as like experiments, not really, not so much. I mean, the critical thing did like the weight measurement, right? But no, not as far as like, I don't know what exactly what experiment.
Just something planned in advance that you wanted to test. Beyond just like going there and seeing the sun, I guess.
No, I think that was basically for me. Well, I did have a list of all the things that the flat Earth kind of predicted and the things that the globe Earth was saying. And then just the fact that everything unfolded, that the South is exactly like we're taught. So to me, that was such a big thing because I realized kind of before going that to be a flat earther, you can't believe that the South is what we're taught, right? The South has to be different than the North. So when you go down there and you see that the South matches exactly the globe model and what we're taught, there is no other way that you can remain a flat earther. So at least to me, I can't imagine the South is what we're taught. So once you know that, how could you be a flat earther? The South is symmetrical with the North, and they flip 6 months later, right? I mean, the sun goes around you left to right in the North. There's no way you can change that. Doesn't matter which direction you look. As far as being within the northern circle, it's going to move around you left to right. And then when you go down south, now it moves around you right to left 6 months later. So just verifying those things were enough for me that I was able to, come back and realize that I was wrong and that there's really no question now. Once you realize the South is what we're taught, I mean, that means that somebody in Australia and somebody in South America and somebody in South Africa, if they all walk towards the South Celestial Pole, they're going to run into each other at the South Pole. So it's exactly like the North. Somebody in Russia and somebody in America and somebody in Hawaii do the same. They're going to all run into each other at the North Pole. So it means that the Earth is a symmetrical sphere.
So do you think that it's a fact that I think it's something like, I don't know, like 80% of the world's population lives in the Northern Hemisphere, right?
Do you think that, yeah.
It might be. I know it's some large, like it's like 75% of the land is something in the Northern Hemisphere or something like this. Do you think that this phenomenon is basically because of that if there were more people who lived in the South, it would be less of an issue?
Yep, I think for sure, because in the North, the sun does kind of what the flat Earth calls for. The sun sets moving left to right diagonally across the horizon. It rises moving left to right. That all makes sense on the North, but it falls apart in the South. So if it was the other way around, we had 90% of the world in the South, I think everybody who watched the flat Earth map would just say that's not the way that the sun works. And then the same thing is true. Like we couldn't find 24-hour footage of the sun in the South, And that was a big problem for me for a while. I thought that it must be all faked. But then you think about it in the terms of 90% of the world lives in the north. So, and the north has accessible places like Alaska, Norway, Iceland. So those places can get the 24-hour sun footage easily without spending a lot of money. Whereas if you're going to Antarctica to get it, you have to be within the circle, number one. So you're going to be inland, which there's only a couple companies that do that, and it's not cheap. So then it makes sense that we would have, one for every 40 in the north, we would have one in the south. Just kind of makes sense. So I do think it has a lot to do with that. I do think that there should be a camera at that Union Glacier all the summer down there, because I think it'd be just good to show children in high school or something.
Sure.
Just kind of and I'm not saying that's you got to do what I say you got to do, but it would have helped me to have seen that at some point in my life. Right. It would have probably kept me from being a flat earther. I mean,
so actually that brings up a good point. But before we move off of the South Pole, or before we move off of the South, what do you make of Southern Hemispherers, people from the Southern Hemisphere, like people in Australia, people in New Zealand, that are still flat earthers then?
I don't get it. I mean, I because they get to test that, they get to see it, so they need to explain. And I don't know if why they don't even try. Well, I guess I know why they don't try. But yeah, the Angels of Light is down there. I think Flatzoid is down there. Eru used to be on Globebusters is down there. So there's a lot of people in the South, and they see it every day that the sun does kind of the impossible thing, which is again rising right to left in the South when it's rising left to right in the North. It just doesn't make any sense unless you put it on a sphere.
Now, going back to the camera that you mentioned in Antarctica, I would agree. I think that would be helpful. But I'm curious if you think that, suppose that were the case. I mean, it wouldn't be so expensive to set up. There are permanent bases there. People could set these things up. Do you think that the approach to those cameras would be the same as they are for, like, the various space cameras that we have that are pointed at the Earth? Do you think that the flat Earth approach would be the same, just calling it fake and ignore it?
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. If it was like a live camera that, people could go and see, maybe not, but I think that you're probably right. Right now, they're just denying everything. And then they'll always say like, oh, you did it because we asked for it, and so therefore it's fake, right? So at this point, if they put a camera down there, say, oh, you only put a camera down there because you're faking it. So, yeah, I mean, and with the AI and stuff the way it is now, I mean, that's another big reason why I went down, is because I knew I'm kind of running out of time, right? Like if I go on this trip, then in the future, I'm only going to be able to watch videos, and then I might just assume that they're all fake. So I'm glad that I went and got to see it. But yeah, I think that they would probably say it's fake, but I wouldn't be worried about them as much as I'd be worried about putting it in every high school kid's eyes before they graduate, just to say, here's the sun that's down, so people can see that.
Sure. No, that actually makes sense. I mean, the flat earthers who are watching this will be like, I can't believe that you're trying to indoctrinate the kids, get them before they can think for themselves, right? But I mean, like, education is important. It's important, right?
And I do think that indoctrination is important sometimes, because you don't want children to get too far along without the knowledge of what's already been figured out for us. Like, really, all my last 10 years have been banging my head against the wall for nothing, because I didn't get anywhere. It felt like I was getting somewhere, right? You're like on a hamster wheel, and then you run on it for 10 years, and then you get off. You're like, well, we didn't move. We didn't bring anything to the world. We didn't bring a map. We didn't discover anything. There's nothing. It's just we had a bunch of screaming and yelling on Facebook and calling people names. So you just kind of realize that you're not moving in any direction. So, yeah, it's definitely eye-opening to see the people in the flat Earth that are still left and what they've come to, because it's just now at this point saying, oh, you're cooked, and things on TikTok that's all they have. They just have, oh, clip that, oh, welcome to flat Earth. It's just not what it was.
I take it you're familiar with Nathan Thompson.
It's not like it was 5 years ago when actually flat Earth was coming out with stuff and had something new each week, and now there's nothing left. There's what's the last video you've seen where somebody came out with some?
I don't watch flat Earth videos. Right. So I mean, I get tagged in a lot of them and I respond to them occasionally, but like it's perhaps unsurprising, and it's perhaps a good thing that the big flat Earth creators like Angel of Light, Angel of Flight as we like to call him, and Nathan Thompson, when they make videos, or like any of these smaller like TikTok flat earthers, when they make videos, they don't really get any views. There are a few people on TikTok. I don't know, how long have you been on TikTok?
No, not very long at all. I mean, I've been watching people for better part of 2 years. Just Caleb and the
Sure.
fit flat earther people like that.
So there are a few creators on TikTok. These are not live streamers. These are just people who make videos. There's one guy whose name is Shane, I think. He gets a lot of views on his stuff. There's another guy whose name is Sheldon, who gets a lot of views on his stuff. There's a woman whose name is Kay. You might even know Kay Pudgy.
Yeah.
She makes a lot. But it's interesting because they never put out new ideas.
Right.
When I look at their videos, because I get tagged in these and I do debunking videos on the regular, when I look at these like high view count videos, these videos that actually go viral, usually it's just what I would call white belt flat earth stuff, right? And so my question is,
white belt?
what I mean is that these are like, the claims are like the very, very basic claims, like, oh, water doesn't curve, or,
right.
Things like a sailing ship just gets smaller rather than disappearing over the horizon, or
right.
These kinds of very, very basic claims that are they're not new, and they've been the basic claims for the last they've been like the introductory flat earth claims for like 20 years. Right. Or 10 years or something like this. What do you make of the fact that nobody's latching on to these more sophisticated versions of flat earth?
Well, what is the more sophisticated version?
Well, so like I really think of like Shane and Alan and like all of the stuff that they do with relativity, and all of the stuff that they try to do with Michelson and Morley, and looking at data, and trying to come like there's Rayleigh criterion stuff. In the last year or two, I've heard some people come up and try to make these points with like, oh, angular resolution of the human eye is what accounts for why things disappear from the bottom up, and the Michelson-Morley experiment show blah blah, all of that stuff. Why doesn't that stuff actually make its way out to the broader flat earth community?
I think that they like the idea of simple flat earthers, right? So the flat earth map is very simple, it's very easy to understand, very easy to teach children. Oh, it's just a circle, the sun goes around it. Whereas the globe earth is a convoluted kind of thing, a little bit harder to teach. So I think that most of the watchers or the viewers, they just kind of, I don't want to say they're lazy, but that's really people who watch YouTube, people who watch other people's content are kind of lazy. They just want to be told the truth, and then because they don't have time, they work jobs or whatever. So I think that that's basically the reason, that they just latch on to the fact that the earth seems flat, and then they buy into this idea, and they're truthers, and then they get to know the people in that circle, and then that's kind of their new family. That's the hard part, is that when you become a flat earther, you will lose family, you will lose friends, you will lose your job, you'll lose money, you'll lose all that. And so you have to find a new family. And then there's this big flat earth family that's there with open arms saying, yeah, we're all like that. We're all chastised, right? So then you have that new family, and you start calling your family morons, and you can start calling your brother a moron. And before you know it, it makes it very difficult for you to ever admit that you're wrong, because now that admission comes with the realization that you are the moron. You were the R word, So it's I think it just makes it very difficult for people to get out, because they look at it and they say, well, here's, let's say I go on the trip and I get back. This is why everybody calls it fake, is because they don't want to face the music if it was real. If it was real, then they realize that what I'm saying is true, and that what the Globers have been saying is true, and that the sun does the opposite of what it does in the north and the south. And so they know it means it's timed up. So I think your brain just wants to not have that happen. So it kind of can, and this happened to me. It allowed me to disregard any evidence that went against the flat earth, because I felt I was right. So if you feel like you're right, you already know you're right. The earth's flat, it can't be a sphere. Then any information that comes in, you can just easily sift out. Like, nope, I don't want to hear that. It's globe proof. And it wasn't until I really had to see it, sadly, until it kind of kicked that block out from my head. And then all the flat earthers that are former flat earthers are all saying the same thing, that we look back now and it's embarrassing. We had a mental block, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a extreme bias to where you almost don't hear the other options. Like I was watching Will Duffy. He was on when I first met him. He was in a debate against Witsit on my channel, and I went back and watched it after the fact. And Will gave a whole bunch of proofs that I didn't even hear at the time. Like after I became a globe believer and went back and watched him, I was like, oh yeah, that's a good globe proof. Oh, that's a good globe proof. But at the time, I was even moderating that debate, and I just didn't hear him. So it's almost like I just am able to filter it out. And I think that's what all the flat earthers do, because no matter how many times I try and talk to them, they just seem to want to move on to the next subject or to just dismiss any answer you give them. And it's kind of like the guy you talked to. I don't know if that was yesterday, but you put out a video with the moon landing. Was that recent?
They're usually scheduled in advance. Is this the one on YouTube or the one on TikTok?
Yeah. No, on YouTube. I just saw a video go up. I thought it was yesterday.
If you saw it yesterday, I put out a video about with a Muslim guy in it yesterday, but it may have been a few days ago. Oh, Flat Earther thinks math is fake. Was it that one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Right. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing there. That you would get him on one thing, and he would just want to go on to the next subject. Basically, like not ever admit that. Oh, okay, that's a good point. Oh, okay, you got me there. So that's what it seems like, is that they'll just jump from one thing to another until they get you in a gotcha, and then they think that that's some sort of victory, when it's just not.
So, and this is just a final question about the final experiment, and then I have a separate question for you. So, just to clarify, did you see any military?
No, there was no. I mean, and the truth of the matter is that once when you get down to Punta Arenas, you realize that ALE is a major outfit. They're a travel agency. They have a huge building there with it. Has a huge room where people go for orientation, and it's an office, and you can tell that that's where they do the intake of all the luggage. So we had to turn in our luggage a day early, and then it gets put on the plane ahead of time for you. So just everything that they do is a well operated machine. It's like it's a business. So that was just new, kind of figuring out, okay. And then when you go down there and you meet all the people that work there, there's 75 employees. And so talking to them, you just realize they're just everyday people. And then it hits you like, there's no way like, let's say it was a lie and they were faking us. The government wouldn't tell 75 people the truth and be like, okay, this is how we keep secrets, by telling you 75 people the truth and giving you $1 million each. And I guess none of you will ever speak to anybody and never reveal the government would keep secrets by not telling anybody, not by telling everybody. So you're down there and it's just clear. I mean, when we first got there, we asked the guy, one of the tour guys, we're like, when does the sun set? Kind of looked at us really crazy, like, what? Like, when's the sun set?
I think I remember seeing that on like a clip of that.
And he's like, February.
I mean, that's quick thinking though on the part of the guide's feet. The guide's feet. That's funny. So question: when you were a flat earther for what, 10 years?
Yep.
9 years, something like this. Did you lose family, friends, etc.?
No, I guess I was just knowledgeable enough to not, go too far with the family that didn't want to go too far. My mom was kind of like, I don't know, it seems like a little, it seems crazy. And my sister's got a master's degree, and she's like, I'm pretty sure that a bunch of guys on YouTube are not smarter than all the physics professors in all the colleges. So they would just kind of drop it and just let me be me. They didn't push real hard against it. But I've heard stories, and I've talked to some guy the other day that lost his wife.
Sure.
And I had to hear. So this is why it's concerning to me, because I do have a little bit of responsibility, I feel, to some of those people. Maybe not all of them, maybe some of them never heard of me, but some of them might be flat earthers because of things that I said. So I just really want to know, want them to know why I'm no longer a flat earther, and I hope that they haven't lost family or something over it. But yeah, you just don't, there's a reason why people feel that way. And especially why there's no educated people really who are flat earthers. Now, if I say that, somebody says, oh, this one guy has okay. But I mean, for the most part, they're not. And that's because they understand that the world operates with the sphere Earth as its foundation, and everything that we do, from GPS to mapping to you pretty much name it, it's done with GPS. And coming to that realization that I don't think people realize, you can't lie to people about where they live because they have eyes, right? We can make observations, so we can go and we can verify that they tell us, they've already given us the map, they gave us the globe, here's where you live, here's where everybody's mapped at, so you can go and test that by simply testing whether or not that globe matches reality. And everybody on Earth can test, and it would match their sky for every single person. So therefore, it can't not be a globe. It would be impossible to fake that by putting, unless we're all blind. If we're all blind, you could put everybody on.
Or if there's a big giant conspiracy, or like the physics of optics doesn't work the way that we think it does, or light bends magically, like
right, if there's something like that.
So I'm glad that you didn't lose family over this. How did they react when you told them? Maybe it wasn't a big deal, but did they react at all when you told them, yeah, I went to Antarctica and yeah, I was wrong? Did you, how did they respond to
that? Happy, I guess. I mean, I don't really know other than that. I think that they knew. I was excited because my wife and I both said, hey, we'll know one way or the other. So that was pretty enlightening, because for 10 years we were kind of doing this, and then it kind of got to the point where I almost felt like, oh, this will never be proven one way or the other. It'll be something that's just always kind of in the middle. We don't really know. And then
Sure.
getting to, actually go and see the way that the world works is like, oh, and anybody should be able to figure that out. I mean, the sun, just if you learn how the sun works and you watch the western sky and you move around the earth, you're going to be able to figure out that there's only one shape that can explain what we see. And so how could it be anything else?
What would you say? What would you say is the best way for people like myself, people like yourself, people like, MC Toon, all of these people? How would you say that we should go about trying to make sure that the door is left open for people who, what am I trying to say? I'm basically trying to say, look, there's a real problem that, like, it's hard to leave the only family you have. And if you become a flat earther, often the only family you have is other flat earthers. How do we make that transition easier for people so that there's less of a fear of losing everything that you have? Is there a way to, help people kind of ease themselves back into their family and friends that they may have lost? Like, what do you think is the best strategy there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the hardest thing is that the flat earth is turning out to be like a cult. I was just talking to, who that Dirt Cuz is?
I don't think so.
So he's a flat earther on TikTok, but Bob the Science Guy did a video on him yesterday or the day before. He did an observation from Hawaii of like 80 miles away and basically confirmed exactly what the globe predicts. And so he ended his video by saying the Earth's a globe, deal with it. So that is
Bob the
latest.
Science Guy made that video, or Dirt Cuz did?
Dirt Cuz made a video where he made the observation across the Hawaiian.
Oh, okay.
And then he was a globe earther now, I think.
Like just like overnight, or was it like anyway?
It took him a while, I guess he said.
Okay.
But anyway, he's going to be on my show on Friday, or to kind of talk about it. So anyway, it's just there's what he's going through now is the cult-like response.
Right.
So that's the thing that I think, just warning people that's coming. I mean, there's no way to, you don't want to sugarcoat and lie to them and tell them, oh, you could just leave and everybody's going to be fine with it. If you leave the flat earth, you will get berated. You will get called globe TARD, you'll get, and then they'll start saying, oh, what do you believe in, dark matter? Oh, okay, now you believe in bendy water. So you just have to be, have some nuts and just be able to take it. It gets easier as time goes on and you start to be able to, okay. And then you see the flat earth for what they are, that they're just not, if it was all about the truth and it was all about, then they wouldn't care that people change their belief or wouldn't, but that's not what it's about. It's about like a social movement of like contrarians who really, even though they claim it's a scientific fact, they don't really pursue that or try and show that anymore. They don't try and show the flat earth is scientifically right because they don't even have a map. So it's kind of run out.
So this is
go ahead. Yeah, I'm just, I didn't really answer your question, but I do think the one thing just to be careful about is that, anytime you chastise people, call them names, make fun of them, that does drive people away. And so I describe it like, imagine when I first started putting out flat earth videos, I would get 8 people commenting, hey, you're really funny. Hey, that your video's great. Hey, you onto something. Hey, you're really good looking. Hey, your videos are great editing. And then you get 2 people who say drink bleach and don't procreate. So the human brain can't fathom the fact that those 2 might be right. Right. So you start to gear your content towards the people telling you how great you are and how funny you are and how smart you are. So that's what happens is you start to kind of go down that path of least resistance, right? You don't want to go towards the people telling you drink bleach and don't procreate. So I can't tell people not to say that because people can say whatever they want, but that does become a problem because nobody's looking at that like, oh, I should look more closely at what these guys are saying. They want to get away from the people saying those things, right? So you then start finding the solace, or you find the comfort in the other flat earthers who are telling you how great and how smart you are. And then they don't ever say anything bad to each other. So you could put out a bad video, you could make a bad proof, you could make a bad claim, and everybody just backs you. That nobody tells them like, oh, that claim actually doesn't work, or hey, that's not actually a good proof. It's like the people going around saying, oh, and Nixon called the moon from a landline. It's like, that's the terrible proof of anything. Like, it's not even what anybody believes happened. Everybody knows that he called NASA and they patched the call through over radio. So to just make those claims, but then nobody tells anybody that, right? Nobody stops the flat earthers and says, hey guys, don't say that. Did you see like what happened when Katy Perry? I mean, that's like a glorified it's like a glorified carnival ride. They just throw these people up really high in the sky and let them come down. And the flat earthers were so taken by it that they had to call it fake, which is like, they didn't fake that. Like, it's just them.
Why would Katy Perry pay for something fake?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Why would they need Katy Perry to do it? It's just funny. And then their excuses for why it's fake are, the door looks like they opened it early. It's like, yeah, okay, well, they opened the door early. That's not to say it's fake. And then, somebody found a picture of what looked like a mannequin hand and put that out, and then that gets shared everywhere. And then you find out that that's when they sent the mannequin up in like 2017. So somebody knowingly took that image and then tried to pass it off to current flat earthers. So it's just like I was having a debate with one of these guys yesterday or the day before, some guy, Chris or something. But he, in that debate, said that, China's...
Chris Van?
Yes.
Chris Van?
Yes.
Yeah, I know him. He's a character.
So, yeah, he just goes on. I mean, and then he said so many things that are just false. He said the Chinese are putting up fake sun simulators. I'm like, dude, that is a fake video. That video is just a rocket launch that somebody said, oh, this is China launching a fake sun. It's just not. And then he said, there was another one he also claimed that was real. I'm like, dude, that is fake. That's not real. God, what was it? I got to think about it for a second. But anyway, it's like all these things that have long been debunked that nobody talks about anymore have been picked back up by people on TikTok. So
TikTok is not good.
No, and it's just so easy to give somebody some little bit of information that they think is real, and they're not going to go follow it up because they're hearing it from truthers, right? And if you hear it from a truther, well, it must be the truth. No truther would ever lie to me. And so they also have the excuse, right? If let's say I share something that is not true, and then somebody does find out it's not true, and they come back to me, I'll say, oh, sorry, I'm just being a truther. I'm just spreading the information. My bad that wasn't true. And everybody gets over and moves past it. But it is a problem. It's I think people have seen, there's like an ISS footage of one of the astronauts is in the bathroom and drops a screw, and everybody's always shown that, but it's not even real. You can go find the original, and somebody faked that by making a screw sound drop in the ISS, but the video, when you find the original, is completely fine. He doesn't drop anything. So people have learned to manipulate footage to make it look like something's going on. I don't know if you've seen, like, there's videos of like a guy sitting next to the astronauts in the ISS, but somebody just edited and so there's a lot of those, and then people believe them. So in that respect, so I made a video
I don't know, a week or two ago, and sorry, one sec, I want to see if I can find the video. I think it was this one guy. Did the video go, was it this video that went super viral? It may have been. No, it wasn't. It was something later. Anyway, so love to find it. Anyway, okay, it doesn't actually matter. So there was this video where a guy was making the claim that there's some image taken by the Curiosity rover or by the Ingenuity helicopter on Mars. So you have the Ingenuity helicopter on Mars, and then it's like, this is a NASA official picture of the Ingenuity helicopter on Mars. And then they show another image below, which has like the exact same landscape, and say, and this is Algeria. And so I went and I actually double checked that. First of all, the claim, and it was just funny because the claim was that the Ingenuity helicopter took the picture, but Ingenuity was in the picture. So like, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? Because unless Ingenuity's carrying a selfie stick, I guess. Right. But secondly, what I went and I found is that the picture doesn't exist. Like, there's no picture of Curiosity, the rover, not even with the helicopter added in. There's no picture of Curiosity that can be found anywhere, like with that backdrop anywhere on the internet. So I went and I just searched for where that backdrop comes from, and it's not even in Algeria, it's in Iran. But what this means is that somebody, I can't say for certain that they're a flat earther. They could just be like a space skeptic or like a biblical geocentrist or something like this, where they think that space isn't real and that there's just water up there. But what's the motivation behind creating fake stuff? Like, they obviously know, like, whoever made it is like, obviously, like, either they're doing it as a joke and then it gets away from them, which, I can understand. But I can't imagine that that's most of the case. What's the motivation? How do people justify to themselves, I'm going to make this fake thing to try to defend my view when they know it's fake?
The only thing I could think of is that they believe so strongly that they're right. Right. So if you believe that the flat earth is true and the sphere can't possibly be true and they're all just indoctrinated, sheep, then you might have an opportunity where you think about it and you're like, oh, well, it's for the better good. It's for the ultimate good, or what do you say?
Sure.
The end justify the means, right? That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, I think sometimes it's probably, this is what I always thought, is that it could be globe believers, to where they're just doing it because they think it's funny that flat earthers will run with it. So they could just make a fake image, put it out there somehow in like a Telegram group, and then everybody will run with it, and they sit around with their friends and laugh hysterically because it's just funny.
I mean, yeah, I can get that it's funny, but that's probably not good.
No, it's not good. I mean, and I always tell people that, well, I remember going down to that girl Shelly. She had she was doing a documentary, and we were down at Salton Sea, and at some point we didn't see the mirror flash, and she had even recommended to everybody, like, you know what we should do? We should all cheer like we saw it. And it was like, wait, what? She's like, well, we're just all cheer, like let's pretend that we saw the mirror flash. And I was like, no, I will not be a part of that.
Flash?
A mirror flash. We were trying to look at mirror flashes from like 18 miles away. So mirror flash.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Somebody had a mirror and they were like, yeah, okay, I see.
Right, like mirror signaling, but it's you definitely get a better. It's better than the lasers, because when you send a laser over water, what I think was happening is that the laser was coming up over the curve or the horizon, and the person on the other end would think that that light, as it appears, is the source.
Right.
But it's actually just the crest. So with a mirror flash, it's kind of different because you're not sending a laser beam. It's that there's like the line of sight observation, right? The person with the camera to see the flash of the mirror is really seeing the mirror. That's what you see.
Or you would be seeing the image of the mirror. If there's some sort of refraction happening, it would be the same.
Correct.
It would be distorted the same way.
Refraction's going to lift it up, and you're going to see exactly what's there, right? So, and that's another thing, is just realizing that, a lot of people say we see too far, and they're right, because if you're talking about geometrically speaking and with no atmosphere, then we always see about 10 or so % too far, or even more if it's looking over water. Right. So now I tell people when they say we see too far, I'm like, well, if you're supposed to see 9 miles and you see 11, there's a reason for that. Show me somewhere where you see 50 miles where you're supposed to see 8. Right. I mean, that'll never be seen, So that's the truth of the matter.
So I do have a question. So I think you made a point, and this is just circling back to how to talk to these people. You made a point that, like, people listen to people who are kind to them, and generally my take is that I try to be kind to everybody. I don't know if you've I tend to not yell at people. I will match energy if somebody's being like aggressive or whatever. But so that's generally my take. But I'm not so sure what the right move is when talking to, or if there's a distinction in how I should approach people who are clearly kind of just followers versus people who are, for lack of a better word, the FLERF daddies, if you will. Right. Like talking to Witsit, Witsit's a bad example because he's kind of disappeared. Talking to Angels of Light, or whatever his name is, does it have an S? Talking to him, he's probably not going to change his mind anytime soon. No. But talking to a random person who's listened to him might. So do you think that should be a difference in approach between those two different groups of people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, you're going to just bang your head against the wall if you're trying to convince Angels that he's wrong. But you can use him as a tool to show the people watching why he's wrong, right? So the fact that he gets debunked on something, like the other day he was on Whatcast and was talking about the plane having the nose down, and he has some little computer program that he's using to show that the plane does some crazy thing. Well, finally, Bob the Science Guy got him to, lock basically the whatever it was, like a 3% incline, and then to keep gravity local. And as the plane went around, then he saw that it never noses down. So he got debunked, and you should think the next day he's back to using that same argument with like it never happened, right? So he's just ignoring that. So to point that out, I think is important.
By the way, was that on YouTube? Because I'd love to watch that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. I'll send you a link. Okay. But Whatcast is the name of the podcast, and he has a YouTube channel, and he had a couple videos on it. So I've been doing his lives on Wednesday, and we had flat earthers come on. I can't think of some of the guys' names, Professor something, Free, PhD Free, some people like that come on.
You know what? Is PhD Free getting, is he getting popular?
Sorry.
Is PhD Free getting popular? Because he was like a nobody like 6 months ago.
I wouldn't say he's getting popular. I mean, he called himself the other day on my stream the most honest flat earther. And then
because I actually ended up having to block him because he kept trying to sneak onto my live stream with different names. And when I would finally catch him, and by the way, Angels of Light has been doing this too, which is embarrassing for him. When I would finally catch him and then I would kick him off, eventually he resorted to he just DM'd me, and he started being really abusive over DM. So I ended up blocking him, and my life has been better for it.
Yeah, that's strange.
But like it's so, you know, so would you say that like matching the energy or like being more aggressive with the flat earth t-shirt sellers is worthwhile, or do you think it's worthwhile to still come across as like extra kind, extra charitable?
No, I think sometimes you have to match energy. I do. I think that if they are, just pointing out, again, you're not going to convince somebody in that moment. So it's not like somebody's going to be watching that video, but you're going to plant seeds. You point out what they're doing. I've learned to say things like, that's not an answer. They can say, they'll get really upset and get really frustrated. And I can just say to them, you still haven't answered the question. That's not a map. So I kind of can approach it that way. And I think it's good for the people watching because they see the person's just wigging out. And you're basically just pointing out, oh, see what they're doing here. So I think what you did was great the other day with that guy, says math isn't real, because you just kept pointing out that his standards of evidence change so greatly. And then you pointed out that like it is a belief system to believe that everybody is lying, that takes more belief sometimes than they'll say, well, it's easy that you wouldn't need that many people to lie to keep the moon landing a secret, but to keep the flat earth a secret, you would, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just like, imagine how much faith you have to have in this idea that the elite are lying to everybody, and like nobody in any colleges ever figured it out. No, astrophysics guys ever looking in the sky like, I think the earth might be flat. That's never happened.
They all have to be in on it.
Right.
So I have two final questions. One, what do you think about the moon landing?
Yeah, I flipped. Sadly, I hate to be the one to do that because that'll cause more problems than the flat earth, I think. But really, it came down to I had like 4 or 5 shows with Dave McKeegan, where Dave McKeegan said, basically, bring your best evidence and I'll try and refute it. And then I had a couple things that I had my own. And then I asked my audience basically to contact me and give me evidence that the moon landing was fake. Well, I got so many messages from people just saying, oh, it's going to be great when you rip them apart. And I'd say, are you going to give any evidence? And they would say, oh, well, we know it's not real. I'd be like, okay, I know that, but I need evidence. So just learning that, I think I've always thought before, like it's the person making the positive claim has the burden of proof. So if somebody's saying they went to the moon, they have to prove it to me. But really what it comes down to is that they have provided the evidence. And so if the evidence has been provided, then it's up to me to show the evidence to be fake, or to be not real, or filmed in a studio, or that it can't possibly be on the moon. And then I remember he introduced me to like the Flickr Apollo archive, which is 16,000 photos that's up on Flickr right now, and they're all in order, sequential order, right? So you can go through them and you can look for any mistakes, and there's a reason why people have not found any. There's no incongruencies. There's no, oh, this guy is showing, should be taking a picture at this time, but his hands aren't on his camera. No, anytime somebody takes a picture of another guy, taking a picture, well, then you can find that photo that the other guy was taking. So you can just kind of go through it. And I realized that it's the most documented event in human history. Yeah. I mean, there's so much information on it, from the transcripts to everything else, that I just started realizing that I don't have any evidence anymore. My best evidence is like, oh, there's a gully that looks like it's about 30 feet deep, and yet if you go to the Apollo Google Moon, it says that that's like 400 feet deep. Things like that it just could be a mistake
one way. Yeah,
right. And it could be just the topography. Maybe they got it wrong about what the actual altitude is of that ridge or something. But that's all I could find. I couldn't find anything else other than. And then again, people say, oh, they didn't go back. Why haven't we gone back? Well, if I went to Hawaii 30 years ago and I haven't been back, that's not really evidence of me not being able to go there now. Yeah. So it's just. Yeah.
And just to touch on that, I did have one last question. Then I should probably move on to actual flat earthers, because people want what they came for, right? So was there one particular piece of evidence for the moon landing that you did that was particularly compelling to you, or was it just kind of like the sum of everything that you were shown?
It was a sum of everything, but I think also just the fact that we haven't gone back, it seemed very strange to me. And I think even the guy said it.
The evidence that convinced you that we did land on the moon. Was there one particular piece of evidence that we did land on the moon that was compelling?
One piece of evidence that we did land on the moon. Just the collection of evidence. I mean, you can go watch it's the whole body of work. And then the fact that we don't have. So I also tell people I would not debate that we went to the moon. So I would not be on that side, because I don't think I know enough about it. And I think that really it comes down to they need to go back. Like, I think that that's just they need to go back as soon as possible. I think this generation deserves it. And now with 2026 and the cameras that we have, that it should be much easier.
Much more impressive,
to
yeah.
Right, much more
and
impressive
easier. Well, I don't know if it's easier. The rocket tech is a little bit better now, but like you still have to lift something really heavy, really far away. But yeah, I get what you mean. It'd be easier to document. All right, I do have one final question, and maybe this is touchy, maybe not. Why does it always boil? Not always. It seems like it often gets back, like the flat Earth conspiracy, moon landing conspiracy. It seems like it often goes back to the Jews. What's the deal there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
I
is
think
that something that you haven't? I get those comments a lot, but maybe you haven't seen that.
No, I have seen it. I think that flat earthers just have it's like a coping mechanism almost, right? So life is hard. We don't understand what's going on. So it's kind of like you have to have this. I don't know. Maybe it's taught to us, and when we're younger, like there's this world where there's got to be an evil side. There's got to be an evil group. Somebody's got to be doing something that's causing the world to be the way it is. So I think it's just an easy. That's why you hear that. You hear the Vatican, or you hear Freemasons, right?
Yep.
So it's just shadowy groups that people don't know a lot about, and it's just easy to point fingers at them and just say that they are responsible for everything, which is obviously not the case. There's people being dirtballs in every religion, in every walk of life. So yeah, but it is. I think that they follow people like Eric Dubay. So Eric Dubay is somebody who makes a big deal about that. I think it's just easy to make a fall guy. So when you just say NASA, it's easy to convince people that NASA's lying. NASA's bad. It stands for deceive in Hebrew. You know, you just get people thinking along. It adds up to 666 in reverse gematria. You know, you can, once you find these things out and you start spitting them out, it's very easy to demonize a group. But yeah, I do think it's weird that we haven't put men back on the moon. But I think that I want to see it. So.
Well,
so anyway,
hopefully, I think we're hoping for 2028, right? Isn't that the?
I think so, but I mean, I never trust any of those.
Yeah,
dates
these dates always get pushed back, especially when like the with JFK, we're landing a man on the moon this decade. That was a government thing, and the government's not great, but like when the government has all of the funding and they say we're going to do something this decade, it'll happen. If we're relying on Elon Musk to do it, then we're at the mercy of the free market. Anyway, that's a whole separate conversation. Jaron, anything that you want to ask me before I let you go? The answer can be no, by the way, if you don't want to. If there's nothing.
No, I think it's great. I like what you're doing. It's helpful to people that are starting to see the truth. I recommend people to watch Dave McKeegan and you as well, because like you said, you keep an even keel. And I'll just tell you that Dave McKeegan has been a reason for a lot of my conversion, because he's so easy to talk to, and when he presents,
he's a delightful person.
Yeah, even in Antarctica, he showed me how his azimuth mount worked, and
neat.
Right there at the table, I mean, it hit me like, oh, that only works on a sphere. You can't. It wouldn't work otherwise. So you just start to and the way that he explains it, and he's talking to you, and he's not calling you names, and he's never, whereas other people might call you a bunch of names, you don't want to even listen to them. So anyway, I do think that what you're doing is good, and what people should look at Dave McKeegan. Like if you believe that we went to the moon, if you believe that the moon landing's a hoax, you need to watch Dave McKeegan's 4 or 5 videos that completely debunk everything Bart Sibrel ever said. They're really good. They're really good. I mean, Bart Sibrel has his claim to fame is that, these guys weren't halfway to the moon. They were actually in low Earth orbit. And Dave McKeegan tears that to pieces. It's not even possible. The whole idea, they're putting some cutout in the window. It's just not true. And he can prove that. So anyway, I think that there's enough good channels out there, and you guys are doing it the right way. And then let Toon and those guys in FTFE, they have just a different brand. And I remember bringing it up to Toon. I said, hey, you're not converting anybody. He's like, I'm not trying to. Like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm trying to provide entertainment. That's what he's doing.
And the other thing is that MC Toon, he's really good at this is his whole. I think it's his day job, right?
I think he's a software engineer for email or something. So I think he does have a job.
So while he doesn't convert anybody, people who watch his content because it's entertaining also get a lot of good information that they can then use to possibly convert other people. Like I rely on MC Toon's website a lot because he has great information there. Jaron, is there anything that you want to shout out before I let you go?
No, people can check me out if they want to. It's Jaron Desmond on TikTok and then also YouTube. And just going to be doing Fridays, letting people come up and ask me questions, mostly hoping flat earthers come up who think that the trip was fake or think that I've lost my mind, because I just want to show them that nope, it's the truth. The sphere is the truth, and you can prove it to yourself. You don't need NASA. You don't need, and it's a much better feeling. I sleep great at night once you, at least 10 years ago, I was looking for the shape of the Earth, and I found it. It did take me a long time, and I did go down a scary road to get there, but at least I know the shape of the Earth now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jaron, and have
Thanks,
a good one.
Blitz. Enjoy listening to you tear these guys up. Later.
So I usually just do debates. I usually never take up friendlies, but Jaron is a very particular exception. If you haven't seen, I just had him on for about an hour. If you missed the beginning, go back and rewatch it. You can go rewatch the entire live stream on YouTube. If you go to Dr. Blitz Debunks on YouTube, you'll see the live stream playing. You can rewind it and rewatch it. I'm also going to be clipping it and putting it on YouTube so that then people can see it more in the future. But yeah, he's a super interesting guy, probably the most prolific person who was a flat earther and then became a not flat earther anymore. So definitely make sure to go watch that if you missed the beginning of it. Go follow his channels on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm sure he will have a lot to contribute because, he really knows the mind of the flat earther, if you will. All right, but without further ado, let's read some super chats and then we will bring on our first debate guest. From Chase Martin Physics with the $5, I just looked it up because I only knew the boat definition. BRB, gotta go take a shower and rethink my life choices. Yeah, sorry about that, Chase. You shouldn't have looked it up. From PSU Engineer with the $5, I appreciate you doing these streams in the middle of the weekday because not many of your type do that. It's nice to be sitting at work and listen. Well, look, so that's what I used to do. And now this is a part-time job for me in some sense. So I spend about 4 or 5 hours every morning doing science communication, doing live streaming and so on, or at least the mornings and the weekdays. So I'm glad that it's a good time for you. From Jean-Jacques with the $5, I appreciate the super chat, my guy. From Jean-Jacques again with the $10. Let's see, if we send a drone from the North Pole going south, and if it comes back around to the North Pole again, then we would have solid evidence that the world is really round. Well, we don't need to do this with a drone. This has been done with planes. It's just not done often because it's not the safest thing in the world. There's not really a whole lot of places to land once you're south of like 65 degrees south. Antarctica is not a great place to crash if you have to, and sometimes it just is the case that like an engine goes out or whatever. So it's not so safe, but it has been done. From Vicinal Elk with the $2, did some research. Earth is actually a strawberry. Is it? Then where are the seeds? I'm a seed skeptic. From Virtuous Path with the $5, these gentlemen is describing what sounds like a decentralized cult. That's exactly what the flat earth is. At least for a lot of people, it's absolutely a decentralized cult. And we have $2 from Casual Panda. What do we, men of science, get from lying? Well, usually, look, so I'm going to put on my flat earth hat. Usually the answer is that the people who are flat earthers aren't, or the people like the low-level scientists, the people who are not like, in charge of organizations and stuff, they don't actually know better. They're just going along with what they were told. It's only the people at the top who are actually lying. That's the general view. From Jack Fetter with the $5, sadly, it took a $35,000 trip and 13 and a half hours with McKeegan for Jaron to accept globe Earth and that we went to the moon. That's not really doable. It's not doable for everybody. You're right. But the point is that it's, and I guess the lesson here is that it's generally hard to get people out of it once they're in it. Like that's a hard thing to do. And it's probably for reasons that Jaron mentioned, namely that it's a family. Like you have like family and friends that will immediately disown you if you flip. And so like there's like a lot of inbuilt inertia there. From Judy Bassett with the €10, thanks for having this discussion with Jaron. Yeah, no, it was delightful. From Squeaky Eyes with the 5 Canuck bucks, make sure FLERFS know Jaron said, I've never been to the south to witness the night sky. Don't twist his words. So apparently Jaron said that. I wasn't there for when he said that. I've never been to the south to witness the night sky. I guess if that's the claim, then I guess he went to the south to witness the winter or the midnight sun, right? Where there was no night sky. I was in New Zealand last February, and I really should have just taken more pictures. I didn't really have a good phone at the time that wouldn't take good pictures of like the sky, but I did have an opportunity, and I don't know the next time I'll have the opportunity to go to New Zealand or Australia, but I should definitely have done that. All right, let us bring up some guests. We have some guests in the guest box. Okay, so we have, let's bring up, I think I know that name. Katie's not in the guest box. I've spoken with Katie before. Katie is she's a very cordial person, but she's not in the guest box, and if she doesn't want to come up, I'm not going to force her to. Let's talk to Jeffrey. Jeffrey Soros.
Hello?
Jeffrey, how's it going?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Jeffrey, what part of the world do you live in?
I am the sexiest man in the universe. Every galaxy exists for me.
All right, let's bring up Mark Vortex.
Damn, you accept me, bro. What the
I did.
fuck?
Mark, how's it going?
I'm good. Thank you so much because I love when scientists and doctors and physicists accept me so I can do my scientific proof.
Yeah, so Mark, what shape do you think the Earth is?
The Earth is flat in a way, we can say that.
Why did you just go from a Hispanic accent to a French accent?
Because I'm French.
Then why did you have a Hispanic accent?
I can speak like a Russian. I can speak like an Indian. But the
All right,
topic
let's bring up somebody who's genuine. If you have to do a fake accent, I'm not going to believe you. I'm sorry. Abraham, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? What's up? The usual, the usual.
The usual? Okay. Abraham, what
Yeah,
shape do you think the Earth is?
It's definitely round because the moon is round and the sun. That's obvious.
Okay.
No debate.
Well, thank you for being here, Abraham.
One question though.
Let's bring up Commandant Bolo. Commandant, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. Commandant, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Well, I have a little different answer if I may say it.
Yeah, what shape do you think it is?
I think it's both round and flat at the same time.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Do you mean that it's shaped like a plate?
No, it's round, but the flat part is the crust of the Earth.
Okay, so do you think that the Earth is globe-shaped?
Globe-shaped, yes.
Okay, do you think that we can go to the South Pole?
South Pole?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so then which part is flat?
So basically what I'm saying is something that is round has been, I'm not now debating the creation and how it formed. I'm just saying that something that is round has been made for us useful and functional because obviously if you can sit in your car and you can drive 300 miles in one direction, you're not gonna fall off of anything, right? So it's round and it's flat at the same time. The flat part is the crust of the Earth, the way it's spread out, right?
Okay, so you think that the crust doesn't take on the shape of the Earth?
Yes, it does take the shape, but
we just agreed the shape of the Earth is a sphere.
let me ask you a question. Let's say, for example, now this is a hypothetical question. Let's say you're an ant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I make a, let's say I design a beach ball, and let's say the beach ball is I don't know, let's say it's
Are you just saying it looks flat because we're small?
Yeah, I just want to know, like, what if you put an ant on a beach ball, and let's say the beach ball is, let's say, 50 meters long. Okay.
Okay, so you don't think that the Earth is flat. You just think it looks flat. That's fine. Okay, let's talk to Paulus Edenvalo.
Hello?
Paulus, how's it going?
Hi, yeah, so I think the Earth is most definitely spherical.
Okay, well, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Why come up? It says, think it's not? Join the opposition, or join the live. Let's talk to Kravis Roberts. I feel like I may have talked to Kravis before. Kravis, how's it going?
Hello.
Kravis, can you hear me? Kravis?
Hello.
Okay, let's talk to Mark Vortex again. He's saying, I promise I'm the best at physics amongst the flat earthers.
Okay.
All right, don't put on an accent.
I'm French.
Okay,
Can we
you're
talk
French.
about the equations and not my accent, please?
Yes, we absolutely can. So why do you think that the Earth is flat?
You're gonna cancel me again?
No, I just want you to know. I just want to know why you think the Earth is flat.
Oh, I can show you the equations. I have many reasons, like the time zone.
Okay, so
Like
can you give me
the
the best
Vendée Globe,
reason that
it's
you
a-
think?
What? Sorry.
Can you give me the best reason that you have? The most solid, true
I think
reason.
you have a PhD of physics, right?
I do.
I think the good reason for you is to show equations, very simple equations that everybody will understand.
Yeah, what are
And
the
I can
equations?
show you that in the concept of gravity, you don't understand it.
Okay, so what are the
can-
equations?
Thank you. Do you know Cavendish?
Yeah, I know the Cavendish. I know the person and the experiment. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Do you need little g in the equations?
Little g
Cavendish?
in the equations of Cavendish? No. I mean, like, not... Cavendish doesn't have equations. Cavendish ran an experiment. And when you're
we need
computing...
equations for
when you
this
were-
experiment, so of
I'm
course I was
elaborating.
talking about-
So I'm elaborating. When you're trying to make a prediction about things like how quickly the torsion balance will oscillate, that will not depend on little g. That will
Okay,
depend.
now
Actually, it
I
might
ask a
depend on.
question.
Actually, hold on. Sorry, it might
Can I
depend on little
talk?
g.
Can I talk?
Once I'm done talking, you can. It might depend on little g insofar as little g will influence the torsion or the tension on the string, which will influence its oscillation frequency. But aside from that, it's not actually relevant to the attractive force between the two masses.
So what's the point of the Cavendish experiment? Can you just say in 2 words, because there is 2 points. Can you just explain what is the 2 points, precise points? Because everything is related to that. I don't want to help you too much because I know that physicists, they don't understand nothing. But what is the point of the Cavendish experiment or the balance of torsion, like you said?
So the purpose of the Cavendish experiment is to measure the gravitational attraction between two masses.
What exactly? How we call that?
What do you mean, what exactly? I just explained it.
There is a name, there is a value, there is a number, there is a letter.
Oh, are you referring to measuring big G? Well, look, so that was the original purpose
Can
of...
you explain better? So there is
Yeah. So the original purpose of the Cavendish
purpose,
experiment...
those.
Look, so the original purpose of the Cavendish experiment was to weigh the Earth. They didn't, at the time, view
No,
the...
it's not to weigh the Earth. What are
Please
you
don't... I'm
talking
answering your
about?
question. Please don't cut
Oh.
me off. At the time, when Henry Cavendish... I think it was Henry? Is that his name? When Henry Cavendish was performing the experiment, his goal was to measure the product of what we now call Newton's constant, big G, and the mass of the Earth. They didn't treat these as two separate numbers. It was just they called that the gravitational... there was a word for it. It's the gravitational strength that the Earth has. That's why he conducted the experiment. Now, the reason why the experiments are conducted nowadays are for very, very different reasons. Now these experiments are conducted to try to see if Newtonian gravity holds up at small scales, or to measure big G in extreme precision, etc. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Big G
Gravitational
with an
parameter, that's the word.
extreme precision. Now I ask to everybody, 1,000 people, to go to look the Cavendish experiment, the first Cavendish experiment, 1 century after Newton. And I ask to every engineer, every people working in the buildings and everything, the real engineers, to look at the first experiment of Cavendish and to tell me if this Dr. Blitz are right and if it's a serious experiment, very precise. Because it
To be
has
clear-
to be very, very precise. Because
We don't
the
have to
force is-
we don't have to rely on the experiments of somebody from the 1700s in order to do it
We have to,
ourselves. Now,
because what
the
you
way that
don't
it was conducted in
understand-
the 1700s was a lot less rigorous than the way that we would conduct it now. We have better standards now. But that doesn't mean that the experiment, as
have
is
to- you have to
conducted
learn
all
how
over
to
the world
listen.
for the last
You have to
several
listen.
centuries, is not a valid experiment.
I was about to explain something. You are
Go
you
ahead.
are in the cancel culture, like the Democrats. Cancel. I'm gonna show equation. Cancel. You cancel me 1 time. Now you talk too much over me.
Tell me the equation.
Yeah, I'm mad because I have work. I have other things to do. I have to win my life. I have to win money. I don't care to explain my equation. I do it every time, and I make the.
Then why are you here?
Scientist crazy. I write
Then why are you here?
theses.
Just bring up your point.
You can follow me. Because the French doctors, they told me that we need to use little g in the Cavendish experiment, so we don't need little g.
I'm sorry.
But you were
like,
right on this
did you
one.
want?
You the point on
Did
this
you
one.
want to come up to have a conversation, or did you just want to come up to shill for yourself?
No, I came up to show you the equation.
Okay.
And
So then
I
what's
can
the?
do
So
it
then
right
bring
now.
up. So bring up the equation.
Yeah.
What's the
I
name
do
of the equation, if you have it?
Oh, what's the purpose of the Cavendish experiment? It's
That
not
wasn't my
only to
question.
calculate big G. It's
That
not
wasn't my
only to
question.
calculate big G. Because when you calculate big G,
That wasn't my question. Why aren't you answering my question?
you want to see the equations?
I want to know the name of the equation that you're referring to.
Oh, there
But
are
you-
no names.
Well,
This
so
is
then
just-
what
there are no
equation are you
names.
referring
There are
to?
no names, bro.
What equation are you referring to then?
First, you will never do because you are a liar. You will never admit.
Can you just
that
tell me what? Can you just tell me
don't
what the name
know
of the?
equations.
Can you just tell me
You
what
don't
the
know
content of the equation is then?
Oh, you know? You don't know too.
Well, I don't know what equation you're referring to. You're being super vague, and I think it's on purpose.
Oh, no, it's not on purpose because
Definitely seems like it's on purpose. So can you stop being vague?
Is the string all the truths depend of this fucking string, and we
Well,
calculate the force
yeah.
with the
So
rotation of
the
this
tension
string.
on the string is relevant. Yeah.
The what? The torsion.
The
Yeah,
tension. Well, the tension of the string affects the frequency at which the string oscillates. Sure.
You know what are the scientists who discovered the equation to calculate force with a torsion like this? You know the
Do
name
I know
of
the
this
name
guy?
of them? No, I don't know the name of them.
Because everything, and this is what I wanted that you told me
In science, we
before.
don't really care about the names of people. We care about like the actual
Yeah,
science.
you don't really care about the equation. You don't really care
No,
about what the
I
experiment
wanted-
means.
I want
And
the equation.
by
I don't
saying
care
that,
about
you
the
just-
name of the guy who performed some derivation. I just don't care about that. Give me the equation.
not the
Give me the
derivation.
science.
It's not the derivation. It's the torsion is literally big G. So it's not the
The
derivation.
torsion and big G are like not the same thing. They have different units.
Oh yeah, for real.
For real, yeah.
Are you dumb?
They have different units,
Yeah. Oh, what the
so
fuck?
they can't be the same.
Newton by radian. How you calculate the Newton by radian with the torsion?
So
Torsion
big,
by radian
so
is
big,
Newton by radian.
big G,
Torsion is Newton. It's
Big
literally
G-
the same unit, bro.
big G
And this
has
is
units.
right now, people,
Big G
listen.
has. I'm
Look,
sorry,
look
I
at
have to
this.
mute you.
Look at what's up.
Big G has units of newtons
Yeah,
per
cancel
kilogram
me, cancel
squared
me.
meters squared, which is different from the units of like torque or
I did in quantum physics.
that's
I
what
did
we're
in
talking about.
physics,
Well, then
gravity.
debate it, Mark. Instead of running, instead of being a coward, instead of not actually providing any evidence,
Oh,
just
are
do
you
it.
serious? I'm running right now.
Yeah, just actually provide the evidence. Don't just be like, oh, the French physicists, they don't tell me about the little g. Just give me the argument.
I gave you the argument, but you don't understand.
You didn't
This
give me
fucking
anything.
string.
You
This
just
fucking
complained
string.
about the French
You
physicists.
told me why this fucking string is so important.
I literally the strings tension determines the rate at which it oscillates when you apply a force to the string.
It's
when you
not
apply a torque to
oscillate,
it.
bro.
That's
It's
the
not
relevant. That's the relevant
pendule.
part. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not oscillate. What are you talking about?
Okay, so
you
then you-
never
so then
understand this fucking
so
experiment.
then clearly,
you say another bullshit.
hold on. Let me show you something
You
that's
say
clearly not
fake things
oscillatory.
every time.
Oh, you say
You
fake
lie.
things every
you want to
time.
talk like you understand.
Here,
it's
let
not
me show
a
you this.
pendulum. I write it
It's
in my
literally
thesis.
called a
My
torsion
thesis is free
pendulum.
for everybody. I explain to everybody.
It's literally called a torsion pendulum.
You are a YouTuber. You talk about the cosmological
literally-
physics model.
literally,
You don't know
it's
where
called a
this
torsion
model is
pendulum.
from.
It's
You're
literally
talking
called a
about
torsion pendulum.
About period.
No,
There is no
I'm not
period
talking
in
about
the
a pendulum.
Cavendish.
I'm not talking about a pendulum. I'm talking about a pendulum. It's a torsion pendulum.
Period. A period for a torsion.
A torsion pendulum. That's what it's called. I can show you what it's called.
A torsion pendulum? What
Yes.
the fuck? You talk to
Oh,
me
you
about
haven't heard of
about
this.
the period.
You haven't heard of
There
this?
is no period in a torsion.
Oh, okay. This is embarrassing for you. Hold on. Let me show you something.
What a liar. You are fucking
Here you go.
liar.
You can see it.
guy.
You can
And
see
this
it
is
here.
not what I wanted to say. I
Torsion
just
pendulum.
wanted to understand
A torsion
the
pendulum
importance of this
is a system where a
experiment.
mass, like a disc or rod, hangs from a
Yeah,
thin wire,
yeah,
and when twisted,
yeah.
the wire's internal restoring
Where
torque
is the
causes the
period?
mass
Where is
to
the
oscillate.
pendule? Show me the word pendulum.
I am showing you. A torsion
This video
pendulum
show a torsion
is a
pendulum.
system where a mass, like a disc or rod, hangs from a thin wire, and when twisted, the wire's internal restoring torque causes the mass to oscillate back and forth in slow rotational swings, demonstrating simple harmonic motion. It works by the wire's stiffness, torsional constant, trying to return the twisted object to its equilibrium, analogous to a spring in a linear system, with its period depending on the object's moment of inertia and the wire's properties. So, you were wrong, I'm sorry.
You fucking wrong, because this has nothing to do with
You said that there's no such thing as a torsion
experiment.
pendulum. This is literally how you conduct the Cavendish experiment, by the way.
have
You
nothing
use a
to
torsion
do-
pendulum.
No, in the Cavendish
let me
experiment,
show
we
you.
don't use a pendulum of torsion. We use
you
a balance
do.
of torsion if you
Here's
want. but
another.
not
Here's an
this.
example. This is an example of a modern recreation. Well, a more sophisticated
Oh,
recreation
You
of
don't
the
even
Cavendish
understand.
experiment.
You don't even understand this experiment.
I
Why
do.
this
I've read this
experiment
paper.
is so important.
So-
Why
so
this
this-
experiment is so important?
in
Can
our
you explain
experiment-
in simple word why this
Here,
experiment
let me read something
is
for you really quick, Mark.
so
In our experiment, the gravitational source is a nearly spherical mass, blah, 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 similar to Sleaside's gold sphere, blah, 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 blah. The idea is that a periodic motion of the source mass position generates a time-dependent
periodic,
gravitational...
It's a fake. What you're
Sorry.
reading is fake.
generates a time-dependent gravitational potential
Bro,
at the
what
location
you
of the
read is
mass,
fake.
whose
What you
acceleration
read-
is measured in a miniature torsion pendulum configuration. So this is a recreation of the Cavendish experiment. It's right here. This is a torsion pendulum, and it is used to measure big G in this case.
Exactly, big G.
So yes, torsion pendulums are used in
You
the
don't
Cavendish
understand
experiment.
how they measure big G. Can you explain me in simple words how they measure
Yeah,
it?
so they have precise
with the
measurements.
pendule of torsion and everything.
Yeah,
that
so
you
they have
don't understand
precise
shit?
measurements of the masses of the gold spheres. In this particular example, the spheres are gold.
What?
They attach...
sorry. What? Slowly, because I want
Oh.
to hear you fucking bullshit.
Okay, yeah. I'll
I
talk
want to- I
slowly
want to
because
see
apparently you need it.
How live,
So in this
how live you
experiment,
can be.
they take 4 gold spheres, and they actually even have a diagram. They take a
No, it's not
torsion.
gold, but okay.
They have it. No, it is gold in this experiment. You haven't read this paper. I
It was-
understand
it
that you're
was
not
not
familiar
it.
with it.
Cavendish didn't.
I'm not
do
talking
this
about
work.
Cavendish. I'm talking about this experiment.
I talking about
Gravitational
Cavendish
sphere
because
is a
I
spherical
go
gold
back to the
mass.
first experiment.
I don't
because
care
it's,
about the first
most
experiment. I'm talking about modern science. Anyway, the
We don't
point
care
is
about us.
that they set up a torsion balance with 2 gold spheres on either end, and then they put another gold sphere close to one of the gold spheres on either end,
Exactly,
and they move it back
exactly.
and forth and measure the change of the oscillation
No.
frequency of the torsion balance.
No.
And from that change, you can infer the force that the
bro,
miniature
you
gold
cannot
sphere
measure a force
exerted
like
on
this.
the other gold sphere, and from there you can extract, knowing the distance, knowing the mass to high precision, you can extract big G. Do you understand now?
If there are smart people here, 1,000 people, I think we have some smart people. Not everybody, but some smart people.
There is one
He-
smart
he
person in this
actually
conversation,
saying
and it's
that-
not the Frenchman.
This guy, Dr. Blitz, is actually saying that we measure a force with a period, with oscillation.
Yep. Do you not understand that?
We can measure
That's
a
a thing
frequency.
you can do.
We can measure a frequency, but we don't measure a force in a Newton.
Yeah, you can
with
calculate a force
period
given
like
a
this.
frequency.
We measure a force in Newton with a calibration. You
Yep.
talk to me about calibration. So you say
So-
word that you
Oh,
don't
this is
understand.
this is
bro.
rough for you. This is
Okay.
really rough for you. So
This
you
is rough
understand
for
that
you, bro.
you understand
what a
that they
liar.
have.
Look at this technique.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
let's-
rough for you.
let's-
This is
let me
rough for
explain.
You don't fucking understand.
So when you have an oscillating system, it oscillates at
are
a set
dumb, bro.
frequency.
How can you
However,
have your
when you
degree?
drive the oscillating
How can
system
you
with
have
an
your
external
degree?
force,
You don't even understand this.
that frequency changes. So what you can do is you
What?
can. Oh, did you not know this? Did you not know that a driven oscillating system has a different frequency than its resonant frequency?
There is no point between frequencies, period, and the measurement of the force
Oh,
in
hold
a
on.
Newton.
Hold on, let me show you something.
And the specialist to measure a force in a Newton is a hook with a radian. Oh yeah, look, do your research because you don't know. The problem, motherfucker, is that this experiment, this precise thing that I'm talking about, is the beliefs of the physics model that we have. The universal gravity. Everything is on one fucking string. And one string
No, by the way,
rotating
it's
like this,
not.
we cannot calculate a torsion. You cannot calculate a force.
Oh, you didn't know
There's a fucking
this.
string moving like this from
Oh, this is so embarrassing for you.
0.0000666. Oh, I say 666. I'm a conspiracy man.
Oh.
But this is the first sign. So if
Oh,
there
this
is
is
no big
rough.
G, because there is no big G, you don't even understand how you calculate this. If there is no big G, there is no universal gravity equation. Big
this
G
is so
mass
sad for
1
you.
mass 2 divided by the distance square. This is the big equation.
So, do you know-
between all
do you
the
know what a
universe.
driven
It's
harmonic
not
oscillator
working,
is?
It's normal because it's a fake.
Do you know what a driven
Why it's a
harmonic
fake?
oscillator is?
Sorry, can I finish?
No. Do you know what a driven harmonic oscillator is?
That I'm correct. Thank you for the people who understand. Thank
Nobody's
you.
saying you're correct. Do you know what a driven harmonic oscillator is?
People say that I'm correct. You need to.
Here,
you
let
need
me
to
show you
listen to
something.
people later. Can I just finish just five
No,
seconds?
you can't.
5 seconds, and after you can talk all
Here.
you want.
So
I
this
have
is a
other
physics
things to do.
textbook. I don't know if you have ever looked at one of these, but this is a physics
if there
textbook.
is no Cavendish, there is no big G. If there
So this is a
no big
physics
G,
textbook.
There is no equations. If
I don't
there
know
is
if you-
no
I don't know if you've
equations,
ever
there is
looked at
no
one of these.
Gravity.
So
the little
for
G
a particular
is
driving
Little G,
frequency,
no problem, but big G is fake, and you don't even understand how we calculate force. We
So-
calculate force like this.
so I don't
And
know if you've ever.
you are
Oh wait, where is it? Where is
total
it?
force.
I don't know if you've ever seen one of these.
You measure
I don't.
it, and
I don't
after
know if you've ever
you can
seen
know
one
the
of these,
force.
but
You
but
don't
for a
calculate force
but
with
the
the period
driving
and
frequency
frequencies. It's so
affects
bullshit.
the
You
resonant
don't even
frequency.
understand the equation.
Okay.
Thank you, people. Follow me.
He just wanted to show for himself. The point I was getting at, and this is actually probably worth mentioning because it's interesting, is that if you have a system that oscillates at an intrinsic resonant frequency, so imagine just like a string that's hanging down that has like a disc hanging from it, and then you twist it a little bit, it'll oscillate back and forth slowly at a specific rate. That depends on basically like the weight of the mass. It depends on how stretchy the spring is. It has an intrinsic tension or an intrinsic resonant frequency. However, if you apply an external torque and you change that external torque at a different frequency, that will shift. That will that will shift the resonant that will shift the frequency that the thing is oscillating at. And so what they do in this particular experiment that I'm referring to, what they do is that they, and let me pull this up again. What they do in this experiment is that they, because you can measure frequencies very, very very accurately, but you can't measure like individual deviations very accurately. What they do is they take the gold sphere here, they take the gold sphere and then they drive it back and forth. Now the whole thing is going to twist, like this bar is going to twist back and forth as a result of just, you know, you could even just say like random jiggling basically. But by moving the sphere back and forth, you're changing the frequency, or you're changing the torque that you're applying to the lever arm at varying rates, and you can vary the rate at which you move it back and forth, and that will change the force that you're applying to it as well. And so from that information, you can actually extract the gravitational force between this sphere here and this sphere. You can measure that gravitational force by looking at the way that this torsion pendulum oscillates, like the frequency that it oscillates at, and comparing it with the rate at which you moved the gold sphere back and forth. You can extract that information. And he didn't understand that, so that's okay. Did somebody just say magnets? Like magnet? Oh yeah, this is kind of like magnets, except just not. These aren't magnets, these are gold. All right, let us bring up, oh, I should write down the end. And that definitely is going on YouTube because I haven't done, I don't know, was that a compelling French accent? Probably not. Was it a demeaning French accent? Probably. Crush, how's it going?
Oh wait, I'm actually up.
Yeah, you're actually up.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. I was playing Fortnite right there. Okay, well, like, do you have like a plate near you, like a ball near you, for like our little experiment I'm about to show you?
I don't.
Do you have two pieces of paper?
I can find 2 pieces of paper if you, yeah.
Yeah. Get one, crumple into a ball.
Oh, you want me to just waste paper? I guess for your sake, I'll do it.
Thanks, dude.
But you think the Earth is flat, right?
Yes, I do.
I don't want to waste paper on somebody who's just trolling me, of course. Okay, I have 2 pieces of paper. You want me to crumple one into a ball?
If you don't want to waste paper, we can just like imagine you did it.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Thank you. Well, it's like I'm not saying actually pour water. You'll make a mess. But if you were to pour water, which one do you think the water would stay on? The flat piece of paper or the ball?
Well, they'd both get wet, right? So
Yeah,
it'd stay
get
on
wet,
both
but
of them.
Which one would hold the water?
Wait, was this your whole experiment that you just wanted me to hold up this and then say, would water get on this? Would water stay on
I wanted
this?
you to get water, and then I realized how stupid that
Yeah, I'm
sounds
not gonna pour water on my desk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why like I said to play at first.
Yeah. So look, you're right. Things fall down on Earth, and so unless you have something that holds it up, things are generally going to fall down. This is true, you know, if you just have like an inclined plane and you put water on it. Well, an inclined plane is flat, but if you put water on it, it'll roll down it because it's, you know, going down to the ground. It's not really to do with the shape of the thing. It's to do with the forces that are
Cody,
present,
gravity
right?
isn't real.
Crush, please don't pay attention to chat. Pay attention to me.
Yeah, sorry.
So look, what would you do if I showed you a video of a guy taking like a rubber exercise ball, putting water on it, and then it stays on it?
I mean, that wouldn't happen. Like,
Okay,
it might get like a little bit on the top, but that's
I could
because,
show
like,
you
the top
it.
is, like, flat. Okay, let's see it.
Okay. Here.
Blitz, one of the comments told me to tell you that you're the best.
Well, thank you. Thank you for relaying that message. All right, this is an acquaintance of mine, a friend even, Globy McGlobeface. He posted this on TikTok. He did this experiment himself. Here, let me play this. So here's like, let's skip forward a little bit to the relevant bit. Okay, so here he's filling up a cup with water. Now he's going to take the ball. Ball's in the water. Going to take the ball out. And right before it starts spinning, oops, right before it starts spinning again. Let's pause it. We just got to be, okay, see that? See how wet it is?
I see a little bit of shine.
Well, yeah, it's not a shiny thing. Why is it wet?
I don't know.
And even after spinning, it's still wet. And in fact, he even shows that it's wet by taking a paper towel and then, sorry, let me get to the relevant part. He even shows it's wet by taking a paper towel and then drying it.
The Earth doesn't move that fast, so I don't know why he's spinning it like that.
To make a point that even if it were spinning, the water can still stick to it. So see how wet that ball was? It's like making the paper towel wet. So that means that the water was still on the paper towel. Or sorry,
yeah, but
on the ball.
That's not like as much like water that's on like the Earth.
It's actually more water than is on the Earth to scale.
Do you have a source for that?
Yeah, so how deep is the ocean on average, do you know?
Pretty deep.
It's like 3 or 4 miles. On the globe model, how wide across is the Earth?
Pretty wide.
Yeah, so it's 8,000 miles across. So the depth of the water should be less than 0.5%. In fact, it should be 0.05% of the distance across, right? Less than 0.05%. Now, if we just scale that down to the ball, let's say the ball was 3 inches across. We can do 0.005 times 3 inches. You should have just over 1/100th of an inch worth of water on that ball. And there was plenty more than that. In fact, he even takes a ruler and he shows you that that's the case.
I mean, I guess.
So there's actually more water on that ball than there is on Earth to scale.
But like on this scale, what is it? The country of Africa was like covered in water. That's not true.
What do you mean it was covered in water? You mean on the ball? That's just because he didn't like dry off the land parts. He only dried off the.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't dry off the whole thing. He just dried. So like, yeah,
exactly.
like the whole
So
thing
it's
was
not
covered in water. The whole thing was covered in water because he didn't want to separately dry off the land parts. The point is you can get plenty of water to stick to a ball.
No, you can't. If you
Also,
did
by the
Earth,
way, Africa's
What?
not a country.
It's not?
No, it's a continent. Alright, he was a troll. It was funny though. Alright, let's bring up another guest. Exquisites, how's it going?
Good. So gravity's fake, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up Mythical Gold Art. Sorry, Mythical Gold Art, feel free to join the box and I'll bring you up again next, but I didn't mean to bring up two people at the same time. Sorry, one moment. Exquisite, so you think that the Earth is flat?
Yeah, and I say gravity's fake. You've been pulling up
Exquisites, you seem like you're giggling a little bit.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so why do you think that the Earth is flat? It's just the way you talk with a little giggle? Okay, we'll take it.
Why do I think the Earth is flat? I think the Earth is flat because you can't feel any rotation. Also, we've been aligned with stars for millions of years, as if we're not rotating at thousands of miles per hour, flying through an endless fucking space. You know what I'm saying? It kind of makes no sense.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Like, okay, so imagine this. Imagine you're actually on a planet that's spinning 1,000 miles per hour, flying through endless space. Can you even imagine that or no?
Yeah, I can. I've seen videos of it.
So you've seen a video of our Earth flying through space.
Well, it doesn't look like much. That's the thing.
And guess what? If Earth was rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, you realize you'd be able to see that, right?
Why?
Because it's rotating at 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, but how big is the Earth?
Is it not massive?
It's really big. So how would you see it if 1,000 miles per hour is like one rotation every day? That's really slow.
So the Earth rotates one day or one time a day, and that's what a day is, 24 hours. That's each rotation.
Yeah.
But 1,000 miles. Okay, so what about like you still can't see it. Notice how nobody has ever seen a real picture of our Earth. And you could say you can, it's all, I mean, you could just look it up. If you look up a picture of our Earth, none of them are real. You could just look at it.
How do you know?
Because you could, I mean, look it up.
How do you know that they're not real?
You could actually like see it.
See what?
I mean, unless you're like 5 or you're like 80.
What can you see?
The difference would.
The difference between what and what?
The difference between Earth. Like you can't look at a picture of our Earth.
What do you mean? What do you mean the difference between Earth? If you want to make a comparison, a difference, you have to have something else to compare it to, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you would think of what the Earth would look like, and then you look at Earth on maps, the difference is crazy. There's no way those are real pictures of Earth. You could just tell.
Why would the maps, which are not a globe, why would they look like pictures of the globe?
Because look, so their whole point in showing the globe and the whole point of NASA and all the moon landings, every single picture on Safari proves that the Earth has a quote unquote globe in like the circular.
Every single picture on Safari?
Yes, that's a very big point they make. They try to point
on Safari?
out that the Earth
What
is
does
a globe.
on Safari mean?
Bro, do you not have an iPhone, gang?
This has got to be a troll, right?
Do you not have an iPhone? Hello?
No, I don't have an iPhone.
2026 or what?
I don't use iPhones because iPhones are cringe. Hey, what's this?
That's a picture of the globe. But look, does that look real to you, or does it look like?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, how did they take that picture in space? What did
With
they
a
take
camera, with a Hasselblad 70. I think it's called a Hasselblad 70.
A Hasselblad 70.
Yeah.
Which just could take pictures in space.
It's a camera, yeah.
So where's everything else? Is space empty? I thought space wasn't empty. Is there only our globe in there, or what's going on in space?
Exquisites. Why do you think the sun sets?
Well, I think that Earth is flat and the sun goes side to side every day from the edge of the firmament to the other edge of the firmament. So like side to side to each edge.
So why does the sun set?
That creates one day.
Why does the sun set? Why does it go below?
I've actually thought about that, not gonna lie, because like I don't understand why a sun would rise and set. Because look, okay, so how does that explain that the Earth is round though?
I'm just asking you how it makes sense on a flat Earth. That's all. Very
I
simple.
understand that.
Okay, can you explain it to me?
No, because I told you, I just think that the Earth goes side to side.
The
So
Earth
like
goes side
you
to
know,
side.
the sun, not the
What?
Earth.
How does the Earth go? How does the sun going side to side make the sun look like it
Because
sets?
everything rotates around Earth, but that's not what we're told. We
Look, I'm
rotate
just
around
trying to understand. Why does the sun look like it goes down?
because north, east, south, and west, right? The sun rises from the east and the west.
But
So
why does it go down?
because it's rising and falling from the east and west.
So, like, where does it get? Does it go into the ground?
No,
Oh, so where does it go? Why can't I see it anymore at night?
it goes to the other side of the Earth or the globe.
Why can't I see it anymore? Of the globe?
Well, in your theory.
I'm asking about in yours.
Well, it would be going to the other side of the edge.
Why can't I see it anymore?
Because it's on the other side. That's like saying that's
Why
like
can't I see it anymore? What's blocking my way? What's blocking my view?
Well, if you're on one part of the Earth and you're on the other part of the Earth, are you still going to see the same thing that's on the other part of the Earth? No.
But it's still in the sky, right?
Because you're on the other part of the Earth.
Is it still in the sky?
Yeah. Don't we see stars no matter where we go though? Around the whole entire
No, you
Earth?
see different stars depending on where you are.
But we look up and see the same thing no matter where we are.
No,
right?
we see different stars.
Different stars.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you asking me? I'm confused.
I'm asking why does the sun go down? What makes it go down? Why can't I see it at midnight?
Because the sun rises in the east, in the
Right.
west.
I understand. Why
east and
does it
west are-
rise? Why
you
can't I
realize-
see it at midnight?
Okay,
What's
can I-
stopping me from seeing
Can I
it at midnight?
Please continue talking.
I just want to
East
know what's
and
stopping
west-
me from seeing it at midnight.
Okay. East and west are directions. So if you look to your east and if you look to your west, that means sidewards, which sun, like the sun and the moon, like I've been telling you, they go sidewards. So that would make sense because they rise in the east and the west. Does the sun rise in the north, in the south? No. It rises east to west. We all know this. That's exactly how the sun works.
Exquisites. It's a very simple question. Why can't I see the sun at midnight? What's stopping me from seeing it?
What's stopping you from seeing the sun at midnight?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not anywhere near where the sun is. So how could you
Is it
possibly
still
see
in
the
the
sun?
sky?
Yeah, but again,
It's in the sky. It's like in the sky, like over there, and I'm like over here. Why can't I?
But I don't
see
think
it?
I don't think you're accounting for how massive the distance is, though. Like you're
How
I
massive
think
is the distance?
it's huge. I told you you're on one side of the Earth and then the other side.
So
of the Earth.
like, how
So
far
that's
is that?
big enough.
And what?
I don't.
So
I
you're
don't
just
know
telling
the-
me it's too small to see?
I just don't know the exact measurement of the Earth. So
Okay, so
I'm sorry, I can't use numbers.
The distance between here and the furthest point on the surface of the Earth is something like 12,000 miles. So are you just saying that it's like so far away that it got too small? I can't see it anymore because it's too small? Is that what you're trying to say?
I feel like you're trying to trick me. I'm literally just saying that you can't see it because it's literally on the other side of the Earth. So how are you going to see
I'm
something?
asking why can't I see it?
Well, how
What's
are you going
stopping
to see
me?
it? Can you answer that? You keep asking
Well,
me the
look,
same
if the
question.
Earth
How
is
would you
flat-
possibly see that?
If the Earth is flat, then like it should never disappear, right? I should always be able to see it if I zoom in enough, right? And furthermore, I can always see the stars. Like if I'm in the northern hemisphere, then like even the stars that are on the other side of the sky, I can see them.
Yo,
So why can I see them but not the sun?
I can't.
All right. I've had enough with this troll. Moving on. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was trolling, but it was still fun. All right, let's read some super chats and we'll bring up our next guest. Yeah, I think he was trying to run. From Chase with the $2, bro is just describing a manifold. True, he absolutely was. From Jack Fetter with the $2, I guess the French peaked with fries and toast. Indeed they did. From C-Bar with the $2, thank you. And from Boogie the Cat with the $2, pendule de Trojan. Yeah, right. From Frigid Part with the 100 THB. I don't know what that is. Let's find out. Those are Thai bots. Bro takes about 3 to 5 business days to show its equation. Absolutely true. From Vicinal Elk with the $2, I fought in your general direction. It's a good reference. It's a good movie. From Furtive Pata with the $2, cooking this guest like croque monsieur. That's funny. You guys are funny. It's an American pastime where we like make fun of French people. Like, it's just a thing that we do. Since World War II. From Jean-Jacques with the $20. Thank you so much, Jean. I'm just thinking out loud, but this is a headbanger. A city block is usually a square or a rectangle. However, if you were to circle the block without seeing it from above, you might assume it was a full circle. Rotation. I don't know what that means. You were to circle the block without seeing it from above. Well, no, but you would notice that you were turning, right? You would notice that you have to turn left or turn right if you were circling it. From Lily Pip with the $5, wasn't there a video on the ISS showing water clinging to an astronaut's fingers? That seemed pretty compelling. Yeah, but they think space is fake and they think all of that is fake, so they wouldn't believe it anyway. From House 70 with the $10, Day of the Trolls is upon us. Has to be. Too many poorly made arguments. Indeed. Indeed, most of them are going to be trolls. Oh, NASA Payroll sent me 1,000 coins in the form of a galaxy. Thank you so much, NASA Payroll. I appreciate the funding, but that's not enough to buy groceries. All right. Is this Pookie? Is this Pookie Bear? Oh, my stomach is gurgling.
What's
hey,
up,
welcome
bud?
to your flat plane. How's it going?
Good.
Is this Pookie?
Yeah, what's up?
Pookie, it's been a long time. Where you been?
Yeah. You know, doing my thing. Hey, will the horizon be the same horizon every single day for like a certain observer height?
Will the horizon be the same horizon? I don't understand what you're asking.
So if I put, you know, something at a 1 foot observer height, is it going to be the same horizon every day at the same point distance away from my camera?
Oh, are you asking, is the horizon the same distance every day? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Given at a given height? No, there will be atmospheric conditions that can affect where the horizon appears to be.
And how far away, if I put my camera at a 1 foot observer height, how far away should that horizon be?
Depends on the atmospheric conditions.
Okay, super duper refraction. What's the furthest?
You could make it. You could see in principle infinitely far if the refraction is strong enough.
Infinitely far.
Yeah.
So there's no way to debunk the globe then, right?
Well,
it's just debunked.
No, I mean there is. You could make observations. You could make observations that don't rely on like looking at the horizon.
Yes. Well, no, I don't look at things in the sky. I try to.
Well, you can make observations about like the ground, right?
Blitz. So what is the claim for a 1 foot observer? How far away is the horizon?
It depends on the atmospheric conditions.
Okay, what does the globe say, Blitz?
It depends on the atmospheric conditions. That's what the globe says.
No, it doesn't. No, it
absolutely does.
I'll look it up right now.
If you want to ignore the atmospheric conditions,
calculator, Blitz?
If you want to ignore the atmospheric conditions, then you can get it to be, it's like half a mile or something from a foot.
Yeah.
I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
Mile and a half.
If you ignore the atmospheric conditions, right?
Okay. So
we agree on that. That atmospheric conditions change the apparent location of the horizon.
It only tells me that it's supposed to be 1.50. That's it.
So what do you mean if you look up atmospheric conditions? Atmospheric conditions are different depending on what's going on.
When I put my observations through like the AI system, it told me that like we're not supposed to see refraction.
Are we trusting AI? So
Well, no. So
Pookie.
I seen the horizon. So hold on, listen to me real quick. I seen the horizon. That's what I did. I documented the horizon each
Sure.
time I went to a certain location. All right, for the same observer height. I seen things being disappear bottom up. I agree. Like there's a boat that's going out. There is a part where you will never see that boat. You'll never be able to bring it back in because of the stuff that's going on above the surface of the water. I documented this because
That's interesting.
I
So you're
documented-
saying that things
Well, no,
disappear, you'll never be able to zoom them back in because of what kind of things going on above the surface of the water?
Refraction, miraging.
So refraction is something you believe in when it's favorable to you, but when it's used to explain things that you think debunk the globe, you just dismiss it?
Can I get a big box? Can I get a big box?
No, because
real quick?
I'm multi-streaming from the computer. I can't do that.
So you can't give me a big box.
Because you're also on YouTube in vertical and horizontal format, and you can't be displayed on multiple
That's
displays
crazy.
that way.
So there is something that happens above the water, just like I documented it above hot ground. All right, it's just that over the water, this effect was happening further away. All right, so in the morning, this is looking at Delaware. All right, from New Jersey. It's only 15 miles away. Now, this right here is Observation Tower 13. It's sticking out of the trees. Those are trees that it's sticking out of.
Sure.
On the other side, it's 15 miles away. So, Globy McGlobeface.
How do you verify
did
that
a
they're
debunk-
trees?
Real quick, yeah. So Globy McGlobeface did a debunk video on these observations, and he told everybody that he was talking to that these are clouds. All right, in his video. And he went on Google Earth and found all the trees that we could possibly be looking at from my position, and then told everybody they were clouds afterwards. Then he came out and said they were trees, but in his video, he says, Pookie wants us to believe that we're seeing trees at a 1 foot observer height 15 miles away when the trees can't be no more than 30 foot high. They're all pines, and the highest point in Lewes, Delaware is 20 foot above sea level. So
Pookie, that's an interesting observation.
Hold on, listen.
That's an interesting observation, Pookie.
Hold on, real quick. I'll give you that whole 20 foot, all right, of that sea level, that Lewes, Delaware. The highest point, it says, is 20 foot above sea level. So I'll give you that 20 foot, all right? You can have it. I'm still not supposed to see
Pookie,
the
that's
trees.
a fascinating
Globy
observation.
said-
Here's a question.
What's up?
So, what's the deal with like these kind of
I
photos
didn't
then?
make that observation. I don't know about that. Do you want to pay attention to my observations, or do you want
Look,
to?
so we're comparing we're comparing like photos. I didn't make your observation. Why should I care about that?
The bridge looks curved, and you're not like taking it
Okay.
from the ground, bro.
So on the right,
Did
we
you
have
take these
exact.
observations?
So on the right, you have a photo. Do we agree that this is a photograph? Have you seen this photograph before?
I'm not making no. Did you take these pictures?
This is a photograph. No, I didn't take these pictures.
Okay, so can we talk
so
about
are we
my
just going to dismiss them?
observations? 'Cause I
Well, look,
actually have
you
proof
mentioned
for
your
this, Blitz.
observations. I want to show you something that seems to conflict it.
What are you doing, bro?
Right. So we have your observations. Great. They're interesting observations. We also have this observation, right? So
That's
this is a
not
photo.
yours, though. Why
It's
are we
it's irrelevant.
deflecting
It's
from what
irrelevant
I'm
who
saying?
made. It's
Blitz,
irrelevant
what
who
is
took the
going on?
picture.
You're having like a fucking overload here. What's going on?
I'm good. You seem to be freaking out. Is your
No. Can
is
we
your like?
talk
Did you drink
about
coffee
what
this
I
morning?
have?
Like,
Are
you
going
mentioned your
to
thing.
talk about-
Pookie,
Are
you
you
mentioned
gonna
your
talk
thing.
about
I
my
listened to you
observations,
talk
yes
about
or
your
no?
thing. Now I want to bring up this, and we can talk about why they appear to look different.
I don't know about those. I didn't.
I know.
Make those
I'm going to tell you about it.
observations.
I'm going to
Neither
tell you
have
about it, Pookie.
Blitz.
Pookie, I'm going to tell you about it. So this
Okay,
is
go
a
ahead.
photo of the 38 kilometer long Causeway Bridge at Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana.
Yep.
Now, and it's just a photo, right? It's a fairly common photo, actually.
Yep.
Now, here on the left, we have what you would expect to see on the globe. This is using Walter Bislin's calculator. And then this is what you'd expect to see on a flat Earth.
No, the fuck
Globe,
it's not,
flat Earth.
bro.
Globe,
So-
flat Earth. Now, we can actually do a blink test between the globe model and this actual real picture.
I can't believe you're doing this.
Doesn't
shit
it
right now.
look like it's basically identical?
You can't even put me in the big box. That's crazy.
Why,
Bro,
why
you're-
does this photo exactly
I can
match
tell
the
you're
globe
scared,
prediction?
bro. You don't want to actually fucking talk about my observations because
Why
you
does
know
the
that
globe
we're not
model
supposed to
match?
see the horizon, make
Look,
things
I'm
disappear.
asking
in
you
the
a question,
distance
Pookie.
Between 10 miles.
Pookie, I'm asking
can
you
I
a
finish
question.
what I was
Why does
saying?
the photograph
Why
match
are
the
you
globe predictions
deflecting?
explicitly?
You're deflecting.
Wait, can you answer my question?
I'm agreeing. Listen to me real quick, Blitz. Can you slow down for a second? I agree that something happens that makes things disappear bottom up. Do you hear me?
It's not just disappearing bottom up, it's
Do
curved.
you understand
You can see the
that?
curvature.
Listen to me. Blitz, listen to me. I don't give a fuck what you believe. Just listen. I observed this. You haven't made an observation of this. I have, and I could prove it with my own observations. So you just have beliefs. So listen to me real quick.
Wait, can you explain what's going on here?
I took the numbers that the globe told me, and I even put it through an Earth curve calculator on Walter Bislin's, right? What you would have to do to make that observation make sense is severe refraction that we don't see in reality. That's
Wait a
not
minute.
fucking
So
refraction that
hold
we see
on,
in
just
reality.
to be clear,
Blitz.
just to be clear, can you
Get an
explain
Earth curve
what?
calculator
So
out. I just
hold
seen
on,
you pull shit
Pookie,
up. I just
Pookie,
seen you pull
I will
stuff
in a
up.
sec.
Get an
I will,
Earth curve
Pookie,
calculator out, please.
Pookie,
Blitz.
Pookie, I will in a sec. I just have to ask some questions first. So first of all, are you just going to ignore the thing I just showed you? I mean, if you are, you can just say, yeah, I'm going to ignore it. I want to talk about something else.
I'm not claiming to know anything about that.
Okay,
I don't care about your straw man arguments.
for the record, this is an example of a photograph that exactly matches the globe.
I don't trust you.
That's great. So you're saying that, so it sounds like you're telling me that in order to make your observations match the photo that you took, you had to go to the Walter Bislin calculator and you had to put in extreme refraction. Is that what you're telling me?
No. What I'm saying is I seen different things each day. So for the same observer height,
refraction changes things, right?
So
I definitely was. I'm pretty sure you said extreme refraction in order to make it work.
So
the comments can correct me.
The first day I went there, all right? The first day I went there, the horizon was at 19 miles, obstructing things bottom up, right? It was making the trees disappear above the horizon. Look, let me go fucking put this. So it was not curvature. It wasn't.
How do you know?
I even have, listen, you know what? You know what's crazy? I have people that don't even have a dog in a fight, right? I just went live on TikTok. People that don't have a dog in a fight.
How do you know? How do you know it wasn't curvature? Pookie, you got to answer at least one question, Pookie.
What? What do you want?
How do you know it wasn't curvature?
How do I know it wasn't curvature? Because for curvature, it would have to be 1.22 miles away, according to the globe, all right?
No, a curvature can work with refraction, right? They can both be involved.
Hold on, listen to me. Listen to me. If you ask me a question, you gotta let me talk.
Sure.
So I seen the horizon the first day at 19 miles, obstructing things bottom up. I couldn't even see it that day. Rip could see it on his camera because he had a fucking he had a lens on it. So he was able to see something 19 miles away. We went back the next weekend. We could see something at 10 miles away being obstructed bottom up. It was nowhere, for a 1 foot observer, it should have always been where the globe claims it was supposed to be, or somewhere around
the globe includes the refraction. You understand that, right?
You're saying that you're supposed to see, I want everybody to notice what he said.
Can you address what I said?
We can see infinitely on,
can you address what I said?
Yes, that's what you said.
Okay, so can you address what I said just now? Can you address what I said just now?
Because of refraction?
Can you address what I said? Can you address what I said just now, please?
What? How do I know it's not curvature?
Yeah.
Because at a 1 foot observer height, right? So if something's already hidden behind something, completely hidden, right? 1 foot observer height. Go put this through there. 1 foot observer height.
I already did. 1 foot observer.
15.29 miles.
Yep.
89 feet.
89 feet.
Yep. Now show me extreme refraction.
You're seeing it.
Extreme. All right.
Yeah,
now
you're seeing
it. Put it all the way back down to.
Put it down to negative refraction.
Not negative,
yep.
Not negative.
See what happens as the refraction changes.
Go back.
See what happens as the refraction changes.
Why are you not putting it on just the regular standard refraction?
Here's standard refraction.
Okay.
That's standard.
This
is strong.
Okay, so
this is weak.
What is hidden?
This is standard.
What is hidden?
This is strong.
Excuse me, what is hidden?
What do you mean what is hidden? There are things that you can see and there are things that you can't see.
What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Do you not understand what's happening?
You're just trolling, bro. You a troll?
Look, the point is that if we were on a flat, look, here's a flat Earth.
What is hidden at the top? What are you doing, bro?
This is the flat Earth model, right?
What the fuck are you doing, bro?
This is what you would see on a flat Earth. You have something that's 89 feet tall. You're observing from 1 foot. Regardless of refraction, you should always see it. It'll just rise or fall.
Hold on, Blitz. So you're saying there's no atmospheric refraction or anything that will make things look like curvature? Is that what you're saying? It just doesn't exist.
On a flat Earth, you will never see anything appear below. No, you're right. You're right. Reality is not flat.
No. In reality, you're literally strawmanning the fucking flat Earth. So
there would never be any amount of light. There would never be any amount of light that's hidden at standard refraction. There would never be any amount of light that's hidden. Any amount of if the Earth is flat, there would be never any amount of the structure hidden during standard refraction.
Still see the bottoms disappear bottom
No, you
up,
wouldn't.
Blitz.
No, you wouldn't.
Refraction wouldn't make you see things bottom up.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't make things appear or disappear at all.
No atmospheric conditions that can make things disappear bottom up. That's what
not
you're saying.
On a flat
right
Earth. No.
No, in reality, right now.
In reality, absolutely. In reality, absolutely. On a flat Earth, no.
Refraction. What are you talking about?
So in reality, absolutely, refraction can affect how much of a thing you see because the Earth is a globe.
I'll play with you because you're a psycho. So in reality,
in fact, we actually just can have a comparison here. Here's what you would see on a flat Earth.
Bottom up, Blitz. In reality.
Sorry, one more time.
In reality, right? Does atmospheric conditions make things disappear bottom up? Yes or no?
No, it just changes where you can see things.
No. All right.
It changes where things disappear bottom up.
Not be honest.
Well, I mean, look.
Day, bro.
So on a flat Earth, he's running away. Oh, Pookie, you ran away. Okay, well, we'll just explain it for him. So on a flat Earth, so on the left we have a flat Earth. I don't know if you can see this. Make this a little bit smaller. On the left we have what it appears to look like on a flat Earth, right? This is just an optics simulation with refraction included. That's all this is. We put an object that's 89 feet tall, 15.2 miles away from a 1 foot being observed by a 1 foot observer. We could also add some zoom if we wanted to, right? We could zoom in, zoom out, but we'll just keep standard zoom level. Now, on a flat Earth, all that's going to happen is that the object will just appear to move up or down, but it'll never be hidden because there's nothing ever obstructing the bottom part of the object that you're looking at. Right? However, on a globe, because there is stuff obstructing, if the light is caused to bend by refraction, it can be the case that some of the light, like the top of the light, will bend slightly down towards you so you can see it even though it would have been otherwise obstructed, right? So what's happening is that if we put refraction at 0, right? We put refraction at 0, you can't see it on the globe. Absolutely completely hidden by the curvature of the Earth. But what refraction does is it causes objects to appear higher in the sky as a result because it bends the light downward. So what that means is that the light that's being emitted from the top of the object, it would normally be emitted up at an angle. Like it's emitted in all directions, right? It's emitted up at an angle, but some of it will bend down due to refraction and can enter your eye. And that's how you can see stuff around the curve as a result of refraction. That's what's happening here. And if you get to very, very extreme refraction and a refraction coefficient of 1, then it's identical to as if the Earth was flat. But that doesn't happen most of the time. But when that happens, you can see infinitely far away, right? Because the amount of bending that happens as a result of the atmosphere's, change in temperature and change in density, the amount of bending that happens precisely matches the curvature of the Earth when there's that much refraction. But that doesn't happen often. Anyway. Let's jot down a little tittle for when Pookie ran away with his little tail between his legs. Poor little guy. Let's move on to our next guest. Oh, let's read some super chats first. We have 2 Australian buckaroos from Frizz Summers. I don't know, mate. There are some dumb folks out there. There are some dumb folks. That's true. From Pengslab with the $20. Thank you so much, Pengslab. First year back in school and starting second semester today. Advice for approaching mathematics in general? All love. Science is everything. So the advice I generally give is that mathematics is a skill that can be learned. And much like all skills, it requires exercising your brain. So do the homework problems. And if you still don't get it, go find more homework problems until you do. That's the easiest way to build the intuition that you need. From Ekipo with the €2, this show is not helping my migraines. I'm so sorry. And from Rocinante, with Rocinante Gold, with the $5. In reality, no, atmospheric conditions don't cause obstruction. No, they don't. Now, what can happen is you can have inversions. Inversions can make things flip, and then you can have like a hollow, not a hollow, like a see-through line as a result of that flipping. But what you're really just seeing is the sky underneath. right? But that's not gonna, like, that's not like just refraction. That's a mirage, if you will. Atmospheric optics is complicated, it turns out. Should we bring up Dr. Flat Truth? I mean, he's a known troll and a known troglodyte, but do you guys want to see some blood being spilled? All right, let's bring on Dr. Flat Truth. The people have spoken. Of course, he doesn't have a doctorate, by the way.
All right.
He's just doing stolen valor, but that's fine.
You're just an ugly ass troll to yourself.
I'm sure.
You have never made an observation.
Dr. Flat Truth, I have a question. Dr. Flat Truth, I have a very important question, if you don't mind. Very important question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Do you know how long it takes to fly from New York to Tokyo?
No, I do not. Why?
Because it's a useful flight, right? So there's a flight that runs from New York City to Tokyo every day. It takes about 13 hours, give or take 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so, depending on the weather, right? Here's the, if you don't believe me, it's American Airlines Flight 167. It's in the air right now.
Sure.
It's going to take 13 hours, give or take, right? Flies from Tokyo or from JFK to Tokyo. I'm sure that we can agree that this map is not representative of the shape of the Earth, but it's just a good way for visualization, right?
Okay.
Okay, now, are you also familiar with how long it takes to fly from Santiago to Sydney?
I think somewhere around 14, 15 hours, depending what direction
It's about
you're going.
13 hours again. Yeah, it does depend on what direction you're going. So this is Qantas Flight 28.
Okay.
It's flying, it's going to take 13 hours and 14 minutes to fly from Santiago here to Sydney. Now, I'm just going to do something real quick.
Yeah.
Let's just line these up just right. What's going on here? What's the similarity that you see?
Looks like jump rope.
Do they look like the same flight, just one is in the north and the other is in the south?
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, they're pretty
yeah.
similar. The one in the north is a little bit distorted. There's actually a political reason for that. If they wanted to take a more direct route, they would have to fly over Russia, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah,
But setting that aside, like the one in the south is like very smooth. The one in the north is a little bit bumpy because they want to avoid Russia. But setting that aside, they're pretty similar, right? And they take the same amount of time, basically. The one to Tokyo is 12 hours 53 minutes. The one to Sydney is 13 hours 14 minutes. So they're the same by 30 minutes. How could it be?
So that's time. Now, what is the actual distance between?
So the actual distances are basically identical. They differ by a few hundred miles. At least that's what I believe, right? So on a flat Earth, they should be very different distances. On a globe, they should be the same because they're basically the same latitude and just flipped across the equator. That's why on a globe it makes sense that there's symmetry.
Why do you propose they would be different on a flat Earth?
Well, because the northern hemisphere is supposed to be different than the southern hemisphere on a flat Earth, because otherwise it can't be flat.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you've seen this map behind me. Like, even if you don't imagine that it's floating in space, like this is one of the proposed flat Earth maps. And the outer edge is bigger than the inner bit, right? It's just there's just more distance in the outer bit than the inner bit. That's just basic geometry.
Right, but I understand that both of them are roughly about the same distance, right? So let's just, what is the distance? I never did, like 7,000 miles or something between 8,000?
So I think it has it listed here. I can do some math. So the American Airlines flight, it's flown 1,394 miles, and it still has 5,373 to go. So we can add those together. So the Northern Hemisphere flight is 6,767 miles. The Southern Hemisphere flight is, I can just add them up really quick. It's 824 miles flown and 6,280 miles. So it's 7,104 miles. So they differ by about 400 miles, which is less than 10%.
Yeah, a lot of 6.767s there, but that's okay.
I mean, 6.7.
Right, you know what I mean? So it's interesting to note that both of them fly very close to the poles per se, right? Because one has to avoid Russian airspace. So they're up by Alaska, and kind of up by that Arctic Circle, and the other one goes down south. Now, when I looked into that flight, to my understanding, the only reason they do that flight is because it's a direct flight, nonstop.
Which one? The
And
Santiago to Sydney one?
2018, they would travel up the coast and then take the same route as the Northern Hemisphere.
Which flight?
But now,
The Santiago flight?
yeah.
So
the
I'm
only
not familiar with the claim that they would fly from South America by flying north first. I've never seen a flight plan that takes you from Santiago, leaves going north, and then goes to Sydney. Could you?
Oh, well, how do you propose
show me that?
they made that flight in the year 2010 before the Airbus was built?
So I don't know. I don't even know if there was a direct flight. They probably had to connect somewhere.
Well, so are you calling me a liar?
No, I just don't know. Do you have any something I can look up for the flight map, for the flight paths?
Go ahead. Just
what should I look up?
Just look up the first flight from Chile to Australia and say why is that flight there? It's the one and only direct
So the
flight.
first aerial crossing between Australia and Chile was done in 1951, establishing a route via the South Pacific Islands, which is with a touchdown in Chile. So
commercial passenger airplane,
okay, so we'll look up
Airbus,
first
the exact
commercial.
flight, the exact plane that you are speaking of.
First commercial
When did it
flight from
first
Chile to Australia. The first non-stop
lift.
commercial flight connecting Chile and Australia was a groundbreaking LAN Chile Boeing 707 in February 1974, flying from Punta Arenas to Sydney, Australia. So it looks like they flew direct. They didn't fly north.
Right, that's exactly what I said.
They didn't fly north.
Not sure, by the way, and you just got smoked.
They didn't fly north. They used the same flight.
No, what did they fly before the nonstop? They
So-
went up the coast.
I'm not seeing that anywhere. The first commercial flight, so I can look up first commercial flight from Chile to
What
Australia
did-
with
how about this?
stops
How about
if you
this?
want.
Look up this question, Blitz. Look up
Yeah,
this
sure.
question. What flight path did they take prior to the nonstop? You lost sound, buddy. You lost the audio.
What flight path was taken from Chile to Australia before nonstop?
There you go.
Before nonstop. Oh, so I'm just going to read the AI overview. Maybe we can trust this. Is this reasonable?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay, so it says before nonstop flights like Qantas's recent direct Sydney to Santiago, the main route from Chile to Australia involved long layovers, often in North America, like Texas or LA, Asia, or sometimes Europe, effectively circling the
so we
globe
could
east
go
or
to the
west,
north then if we
as
went to the
connecting
United
flights were necessary and direct polar routes were uneconomical, technically challenging
take
until
the
modern
W on
long-haul
that.
jets and demand grew, with some carriers later using southern polar paths for efficiency.
I mean, I
So-
think you said enough, right?
Right.
I
No,
take
so
W
the
on that.
point
You
is
said we didn't go
this
north,
this is
and I thought you
interestingly
did.
this is no, I said I didn't know what was going on, like
Well, that's
what
okay,
path they
but
took
I'll
north.
take the W.
So
Can you
why
give me
is
the
it that a direct
Give me
path
the W.
doesn't
Blitz,
know?
Can you give me the W? Can you show
No, so-
integrity and give me the W?
No, but you didn't win. Why is it that
come
the
on, bro.
direct path, here's the
Give me
AE
some
map,
integrity, bro.
why is it that the direct
this?
path doesn't go
looking at,
north?
sir?
Why does the direct path go south?
What is this that we're looking at?
This is the AE map. Why does the direct path go
Gleason
south
map
rather
from
than north?
1888?
Azimuthal equidistant. That's what the Gleason map
so
is.
We're looking at let me get this right. We're looking at the Alex Gleason 1888.
Well, not.
map.
I mean, this is like it's called an azimuthal equidistant map. But if you want me to pull up a Gleason map, I can.
No, I would like you to pull up the map that pertains to an aircraft.
You mean this one?
Because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about flights,
You mean this one?
right? There we go. So there's our
So
map.
why do they start out going south if this is the most direct path?
Well, that part you would probably want to talk to the airline maybe and ask them.
But if it's
why
the
they
direct path, why do they go
Now,
south?
Let me. Can I answer the question, sir?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I'll give you my speculation because I'm not the airliner, right? So I can't tell you why they navigate it, but there could be reasons as weather, right? There could be reasons for search and rescue, recovery, to send out rescue help, sea cables and communication to track the flight would be running along the coast of Antarctica. It would also be a very good tourist, promotion to, hey, we fly by the Antarctica. You can see the ice shelves and we'll fly you by the mountain on your way to Australia. I don't know the reason why the airline chose that particular path. If you do, I'll be more than happy to hear your speculation.
Look, so the reason why you brought up the pre-2001 non-direct flights, the flights with pads, is because you were saying that they connect in North America, that they go north first. And that kind of makes sense here, right? If you don't have a plane that can go from Santiago to Sydney on one fuel tank, then you can stop over in a few different places and land. I mean, most of the land in the world is in the north. Most of the I'm sorry, I wasn't done. I wasn't done. So most of the land on the planet
I would just like the W. Go ahead.
Most of the land on the planet is in the north. So, and unfortunately, the Pacific Ocean is very big. And so if you want to go across the Pacific Ocean and you don't have enough fuel to cross the Pacific Ocean,
physics, Blitz.
you're going to have to connect in places that have land. So that's why they would go north. But why then, if it were the case that that's an explanation on the globe as to why they would go north before they had direct flights. But flat truth, please. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of my sentence. Flat truth. So, but if the explanation on the flat Earth for why they go north is because it's actually somehow faster to fly from Santiago to Australia by first going north and passing over North America, why would they then take a longer path later that's a direct flight? Why would they do a direct flight that's longer? And keep in mind, the actual flight time from Santiago to Chile is the same amount of flight time as it is from New York to Tokyo. And if that's the case, if we're on an AE map, a Gleason map, it seems like you're traveling over twice the distance in the same amount of time. That's a little bit suspicious, don't you think?
Not really, because what's weird is you're using
Not really.
map from the 18th century.
Well, I did show you something more reasonable, but you wanted to look at the old one.
From Chile to Australia when Alex Gleason was alive. So I don't know why you want to relate to that as evidence.
Oh, well, so then what shape do you think the Earth is, if not the Gleason map?
I'm curious to know, have you ever called that airline company to ask them why they take that particular route?
Oh, I mean, why would so I have tried to book the flight, by the way, and it lets you book the flight. I've never asked them why they take that route because it's obvious.
Right.
Airlines want to take
It's not obvious.
flat truth. It is obvious. Airlines take the shortest route because they want to save the most money on fuel. They always do that. Unless there's geopolitical reasons for why they can't fly over somewhere, or unless there's some other extenuating factor, they're going to take the shortest path.
Right, but I'm sure you and I both agree that the South Pacific is a pretty big, vast ocean. So if the plane does have to do an emergency landing, wouldn't it make sense to go where there's land? Where there's search and
but the
rescue?
route that they take on the globe is the shortest
wouldn't that be
path.
the first common sense, logical explanation as to why they take that path.
No,
short of
no.
calling them and asking them yourself.
Not
Right?
really.
And
The
if you
first
just call them and ask them, you'll
let
get
me
the
show you something really quick.
I promise you, they're not going to say because it's a globe.
Let me
okay?
show you something really quick.
Sure.
Just got to make sure that something is.
Can I get that W yet?
No, you don't get W's
Or
here.
You're still going to think I'm a troll.
You don't get W's here.
Come
so
on,
we have
bro.
Santiago is here, right? That's Chile, and then we're gonna go find Australia somewhere. Australia's somewhere over here. Here's Australia.
Yeah, let's go fish.
I think Sydney's in the south, right? Here's Sydney. Now,
Yeah.
the question is, on a globe, what's the so I just drew the shortest line connecting them on a globe, right?
Yes.
Oh, what's that? That's the shortest line connecting Santiago to Sydney. However, it looks like if you're in Santiago, the shortest route involves going south first. You go south, and then you get to around here.
It kind of looks to me like they're following landmass.
It goes along here, and then you go north again. You swing up north in Sydney.
again,
so why is it that it perfectly matches the globe trajectory?
Well, it doesn't. It matches.
Oh, no, it
to
does.
land
It does.
For emergency landing purposes.
No, you
bro.
can.
And I mean, if you
It actually absolutely does
fine,
match
but
the globe trajectory.
If you challenge it, no, it doesn't match the
Which
globe,
part
bro.
doesn't
It only
challenge?
matches-
Which part
Blitz.
doesn't match?
The distance is 7,000 miles.
Yeah.
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 Think about what you're
That
saying.
matches the globe. Look,
Think about what you're saying, Blitz.
we have the distance measured here, 11,363 kilometers. Do you know what that is in miles? 11,363.85 kilometers divided by 1.6. 7,102 miles.
Does that make a difference in the distance? Does it add extra footage or something? Mileage is mileage.
Look, it's
7,000
so
miles,
this
7,000
distance. So this distance that I just
planet Earth?
flat truth.
Yeah.
This distance I just measured from Santiago to Chile, following this path, is 7,100 miles.
Okay. I don't
And that's
dispute
exactly the distance that this flight is flying. They are flying the same distance. So then it's the same path. It's the same path.
Who disputes that?
You were saying it was a different path.
No, I said
You just
prior.
did. Hold on, no. I'm sorry. You just did. We gotta replay the live.
Okay, what do I need to clarify on you then? Because apparently you misconstrued.
Hold on.
So allow me to clarify.
I'm gonna mute you for a second, just while I do the replay. Okay. Okay. Sorry, gotta pull up the correct. There we go. It's this one. It does.
Emergency landing purposes.
No, you
bro,
can.
and I mean,
It actually absolutely does match the globe trajectory.
If you challenge it, no, it doesn't match the
Which
globe,
part does
bro.
it challenge? Wait, did you hear that? We'll rewind again. No, it actually absolutely does match the globe trajectory.
Challenge it. No, it doesn't.
We'll rewind again. You
No,
can.
and I mean, if you
It
want-
actually absolutely does match the globe trajectory.
If you challenge it, no, it doesn't match the
Which
globe,
part
bro.
doesn't
It only
challenge?
matches-
Which it? Did you hear yourself say it doesn't match the globe?
Right.
So
I still
but it
stand on
does. The distance is the same.
What?
The trajectory, the map I just showed you, like
Can we look at that map, please?
sorry, not the map, the Google Earth thing I just showed you. The Google Earth trajectory matches the actual flight path that they take.
Well, go back to the one that you originally opened the conversation with, where it
This
shows
one.
the jump rope. Yeah, let's look at all the landmass that plane is flying over in case there's an
They're not.
emergency landing.
They're not flying. Apparently they're deviating away from their trajectory, by the way.
It
But
looks
they're
like
they're
flying
not
over
flying.
little chunks of land.
I don't
If
think
there's
that
an
that's land.
emergency, They can go land.
I don't think that that's
I mean,
land.
What do you want them to do, bro? You
I
want
don't-
them
I
to
don't-
go over, 13
My guy,
hours
that's
of
not land. That's
ocean?
weather.
Oh, okay. All right.
I will turn off the worldwide weather. There's no
Okay,
land
thank you.
there.
So there's no land between there except
No.
Antarctica, right? So
No, there's
you
no
can
land
see-
there.
You can see, there you go. See the coastline of Antarctica? Because
Yep.
they tell you when you're on that flight, you can see Antarctica, right? They tell you.
I don't
that.
know if
That's
they tell
part
you
of
that. Have you talked to the people on the flight?
Well, isn't that the magic flight of Charlie and TED Talks and all those guys, or is that a different
No,
flight?
this is just a regular commercial flight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they go by the ice shelves of Antarctica.
No, they're like many miles away, right? Like we
I
can
think
just
they're
measure.
within
They're
300
like
miles of being able to see the coastline of Antarctica.
they are at the closest. They're like sorry, at the closest they are something like 700 miles away.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to see anything.
Are you saying at You're saying at 30,000 feet, I wouldn't be able to see 600?
Yeah,
miles?
not with your eyes. I don't think so.
Crap. Come on, Blitz. You've
I mean,
told
like
before.
just
You-
like things are small, right? And like 700 miles away,
Yeah,
like
they're
we could
small.
punch it in how
Yeah.
we could punch it in how big it would be, but like I doubt that you'd be able to see anything. No, this is not like some sightseeing
You're
flight.
saying at
This is
30,000
just
feet, we couldn't see 10 degrees?
this is not some sightseeing flight. This is just a commercial flight.
I don't know. You better check the brochure. I'm pretty sure they say you can see Antarctica on that direct flight.
Also, by the way, the ice shelf is not like the Ross ice shelf, the one they were referring to, is not along that trajectory.
Oh,
it's on the other
somewhere
side of
in there.
Antarctica.
Let's see. Pull that Antarctica up.
Yeah. So here is a map of Antarctica.
The Magruder station, I'm pretty sure, is west.
So here's a map of Antarctica, right? This is the Ross ice shelf. This is blurry. Sorry. This is the Ross ice shelf.
And it's west of Chile.
And here, sorry, let me just rotate this whole thing.
Because the tail of Antarctica goes up.
Oh, no,
to
you're
Chile.
right. I'm sorry. I was disoriented. You're right.
Can I get the W?
Yeah, you can get the W on that. I was absolutely wrong about that. So let's plot the trajectory again, and we'll see where it actually takes you. Because you're right. I thought it was on the other side. Okay, so here's Sydney to Australia. So the Ross ice shelf. Oh, sorry. Let me make this visible again.
Oh crap! You know what? I'm getting a phone call, Dr. Blitz. Hey,
I know.
I'm sorry, I got to cut this short. I appreciate it, brother. Another time we'll finish this up on this conversation.
Sure
I
thing,
appreciate
Flat
it.
Truth. Take care.
Okay, you have a great day, buddy.
So just to complete the point, The closest point that this flight makes to Antarctica is here. The Ross Ice Shelf is over here. So yeah, technically it is on the same side, but it is, we can just compute, that is 2,000 kilometers, that's like 1,400 miles. It's far too far away that I don't think that you'd be able to see anything. And we can actually even punch that into the calculator, and yeah, even with standard refraction, it is like there's no hope of seeing it. It is hidden by, you know, hundreds of thousands of feet. 1,400 miles is a lot. Anyway, let's bring up our next. No, let's read some super chats. From Jean-Jacques with the $10. In a dark room, if you point a flashlight at an empty rectangular box, the round beam of light makes the box look circular rather than rectangular. Globe. Point a flashlight at an empty rectangular box. Oh, well, yeah, that's just because the flashlight beam is a circle and you're not illuminating the whole thing, right? Oh, sorry, I need to note something down. From Simeon Urchin with the $5. Wait, since I used to work for American Airlines, does that mean I'm on the NASA payroll as well? Yes, it does. Guess I still gotta wait for your check. Yeah, they don't pay very well, though, unfortunately. Yeah, so the beam is circular. The thing that you're illuminating, it doesn't mean that the thing that you're illuminating is circular. Dr. Flat Truth doing, doing PhD Stolen Valor is, nothing new here. We have 100 New Zealand dollary dues. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, 8 Vasta. That is so, I appreciate that so much. Let's read this. If flat Earth proponents accept that satellites exist, why do they never question the absence of any footage showing the supposed dark, rocky underside of a flat Earth? Could this omission itself be considered a conspiracy against scientists and governments? They don't think that satellites are in space. They don't think that the Earth is floating in space. They think that you can't go underneath the Earth. They think that satellites are like weather balloons. So yeah, unfortunately, they think even less smart things. From Wicked Pissa, with the $2, you gave the asshole a W and he ran away. That's true. I mean, like, look, I'm charitable. Like, if I'm wrong about something, like I was wrong about where Ross Ice Shelf is, I will absolutely admit that I'm wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised if he took that, if he clipped that, and then he said, ah ha ha, Blitz said W, Blitz gave me a W or something, and then clipped something. So, oh, he's in another live right now? Oh, that's embarrassing. Let's go check on him. Sorry, we're just gonna check. Because that would be very. Oh, he is in another live. What a lying liar. All right, let me see if I can log on to my. Let me do something really quick. I'm gonna log on to my alt account, and then I'm gonna go accuse him of being a lying liar on live. What is my alt account's name? It's Blitz PhD 2. It's been a while since I've logged onto this. And then I need to enter the password. Don't look, y'all. Don't mind me. We're gonna go catch him in real time. Is it this one? I don't even know what the password is for this account. Is it that? Hacker voice, we're in. Oh no, never mind. We're not in. Oops. Reset password. We got to do this, y'all. We got to do it for the memes. Because I can't join on my phone because I'm currently live, and so it doesn't let you join another live while you're live, which is annoying, but we'll do it. Literally, I can never remember. Email address isn't registered. What do you mean? Oh no, I might not even have access to that account anymore. That's not good. That's not good because it was my old check phone. Now it's saying something went wrong. That's so annoying. Yeah, it was on my old check phone, and okay, I can't make a new account really quick. All right, y'all. Just create a new account. Oh, maybe I'll do that. Create a new account. It only takes 2 seconds. Okay, let's create a new account. Use phone or email. Make me punch in my birthday. Email. Let's use my alternate email. Continue. Oh, I know what the password was for the other account. Dang it. I know what the password was. It's one of those things where like you have a password that you use for different settings. And so like this one requires you know, it requires like a special character and a blah blah blah. And so like once I know what's required for the passwords, then I will absolutely know what the password is. But okay, we're in. We're in. Okay. There's a lot of people who are copying my all right, let's go. Let's go to Dr. Flat. What was his name? Dr. Flat something? Dr. Flat Truth, I think is his name.
You say that from the chat. Fucking flatty manipulative muscle.
Oh, I don't have live access.
Yeah.
By the way, here's Dr. Flat Truth. Right there. Must have been a short phone call there, Dr. Flat Truth. So embarrassing. I am going to sign in with the other one because the other one, I know what the password is. Come on, get me in. Come on. I know, don't reuse passwords, get a blah, blah, blah. Oh, I have to verify using my check phone number? Okay, I can't. I cannot because the other... Actually, go follow at Blitz PhD3. We'll get live access ASAP. So go find it. Go find at Blitz PhD3. Or it's actually at Blitz PhD37. But go follow it, and then we'll go crash them.
It's not like a justification, not undermining anyone, but you're gonna shouldn't have to remind you to take that phone call. The reason that you left the live was to take the phone.
Do it, Coda.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not undermining anyone.
Why does it even...
It doesn't bother me. I just find it interesting.
All right, let's just send some messages and then we'll...
Katie had her chance to step up to Dr. Blitz, but she...
And he got kicked.
Respectfully.
Why was he lying about the phone call?
Aspect of even in anything.
That's rough.
You know what? I think he just wants.
All right, y'all. This is excellent content. Yeah, it still says live access is needed. I guess we don't got enough follows. That's okay. Yeah, I think that we need a little bit more. That is rough. It's rough for him. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he was definitely like he was here for a clip farm. You only need 50. Oh, right. Wait, he only needs 50. We're at 48, y'all. Get us to 50. We need 2 more. We need 2 more, y'all. At Blitz PhD 37. Go follow at Blitz PhD 37. I don't know where the other 50 are, or where the other 38, 36 are, or whatever, but we got 50. All right. Let's see if we can join. It still says live access is needed. Still says live access is needed. Nope, we still don't have access. We can figure this out, y'all. We can get access. How did I do this? How does one do this way back in the day for live access? Do I have to click like close app and reopen? Maybe that'll help. That's a good idea. Close the app and reopen. We got this. Okay, let's look up Dr. Flat Truth again. Still says live access is needed. I need to do my own live. Okay, hold on. We'll start up a random. It doesn't even let me do my own live. Okay. Maybe it's not in the cards, y'all. Maybe it is not in the cards. Account. Privacy? New accounts can't live. Yeah, okay, that checks out. Well, it'll be able to do live eventually. We'll figure it out. We'll keep it in the back pocket for when we need it. In the meantime, y'all, I have a business meeting shortly. Well, I can't say who it's with, but absolutely there might be something really exciting to look forward to in the near future. But I do have to go because the meeting's in about 20 minutes. So y'all, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for supporting me. Go roast Dr. Flat Truth in the comments over on that line, or over on that live. It's the funniest thing in the world that he said that there's a phone call and then ran over to another live. It's just the funniest thing. So, and yes, this will probably all go on YouTube. At least some of it. I'll clip it up. Yes, I have a phone call. I'm running away. In the meantime, everybody, if you want to follow me, make sure to go to the Discord. Go to discord.gg/drblitz. That's absolutely the place to go. If you're 18 plus, you can go join. You can get announcements from me. You can get all sorts of good information from me when I post videos, when I post live streams, etc. And if you want to support me financially, the best way to do it probably is to become a YouTube member. A YouTube member gets you access to emojis on either YouTube channel. They're the same emojis. It's basically the same price. It's like $4 or $5 a month. And then you also get access to my debate notes, which have all of the references, all of the sources, all of the facts that I use in debates like these. So make sure to go check that out. Consider doing it. If you want to follow the new alt account, it's at BlitzPhD37. That's the number. Anyway, y'all, thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Ask a Physicist.